up to lead the Memphis Mad Dogs, and he's brought a friend. None other than his favorite target in Edmonton, downtown Eddie Brown. These two will provide the Mad Dogs offense, while linebacker supreme Greg Battle puts the bite in the Dogs' D. The Saskatchewan Roughriders offense could use a spark. The question is, who will provide it? Starting quarterback Tom Burgess, or maybe backup Warren Jones. He won the #1 spot last year, and he'll be waiting in the wings should Burgess falter tonight.
CFL Live. Tonight's game from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. The Saskatchewan Roughriders versus the Memphis Mad Dogs.
Good evening and welcome to CFL Live on TSN. I'm Darren Detition. Glad you could join us this evening for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Memphis Mad Dogs. Hey, you can't beat the king off the top of the show. It is the Dogs' first ever regular season home game, and while they are a first-year expansion team in Saskatchewan, is a mainstay of CFL history. Their problems parallel each other. Both teams 0-2, and quarterbacking is a concern. Damon Allen has thrown just 2 touchdowns this season. Tom Burgess just 1, which takes us to our key matchup. So who do the Roughriders go with? Burgess or Warren Jones? The fans in Saskatchewan are clamoring for Jones, and now there are rumblings within the team itself that he should be given a shot. It is indeed a dilemma for Ray Yock. But that's all part and parcel of coaching in the CFL. Anytime you're winless, the pressure is on. Speaking of pressure, a very warm front has rolled into Memphis, and the weather will be a factor. For their thoughts, let's join Gord Miller and Glenn Suter.
Darren, what's that bit about? It's not so much the heat, it's the humidity. Well, in Memphis today, it's both. It was 108 degrees, and then it rained. Plenty close, as they say here in the Mid-South. The Mad Dogs have had 2 close games, but Glenn Suter, they've lost them both. What's the problem?
Well, they're not getting much help out of their offense. Defensively, they're playing good football, but offensively, they're turning the ball over too much, and they're not getting any points on the board, and Damon Allen has to change that tonight if they want to have success.
Same story, too, for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's been the case the last couple of years that the offense leaves the defense on the field too long.
That's right. Last week versus Edmonton, the defense was on the field for 96 plays. That's way too many. Tom Burgess has to maintain some drives and put some points on the board, especially in this heat here in Memphis.
Well, certainly the conditions are going to play a major factor in this football game tonight, especially for players from Saskatchewan who aren't at all used to conditions like these. Darren?
Thanks very much, gentlemen. Time now for our game story. Damon Allen has got to start producing with downtown Eddie Brown. Last year, he had 15 touchdowns. This season, Brown with just 1 in his first 2 games. It's a given that somebody has to step up to the plate for the Riders, either Burgess or Jones. And how much of a factor will the weather be? They're saying 110 degrees at kickoff. And the Memphis Mad Dogs O-line, they are a huge part of Damon Allen's problem. They have got to come through tonight, and they are definitely lacking experience. So the table has been set. It's time now for the opening kickoff as we go to Liberty Stadium and join Gord and Glenn. Guys?
Thanks very much, Darren. The Saskatchewan Roughriders won the toss and elected to play the game in a swimming pool, but referee Jake Ireland refused their request, so Saskatchewan will begin with the football. And you can see on the natural and artificial surface here at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. We'll talk more about that later. There's 62-year-old Pepper Rogers, a collegiate coach at Kansas, Georgia Tech, and UCLA. And Pepper also coached the Memphis Showboats here in the United States Football League. He had players like Henry the Gizmo Williams, the Toaster Brett Williams, and Derek Crawford. In fact, you see Brett Williams on the right. He's an assistant coach now for the Memphis Mad Dogs. And opposite him is Ray Yock, and Ray was involved in an unfortunate sideline collision last year with Edmonton's Michael Souls, one that caused him knee and ankle problems all year long. Ray says he feels as good now as he has in the last 10 years, but his team is 0-2. A win would make him feel much better. And to finally set the rosters for today, well, we got the coaches. There is Alien. Alien is a 4-year-old black Labrador retriever, and he's got a job to do in a minute. When Memphis kicks the ball off, it'll be up to Alien to run out and grab the kicking tee, and Alien may be the most popular Mad Dog right now. The Memphis Mad Dogs in their home green, the Saskatchewan Roughriders in white, and they're set to receive. And the kick from the new man, Joe Allison, and it is not very deep. It is taken by Aaron Ruffin up at the 30-yard line. Tries to get up to the 35, but he's gang tackled and forced back. The Saskatchewan Roughriders will start at about their own 35-yard line. Tom Burgess gets the call at quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Look, though, for Warren Jones to get a quick nod tonight if Burgess struggles. 5 interceptions to 1 touchdown this year for the Saskatchewan starting quarterback.
That's right, Tom.
The starting lineup for this game brought to you by Mr. Sub. Fresh thinking is what we are. The veteran offensive line is anchored by Mike Anderson in his 12th year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And among the receivers, the new man is Prince Wimbley III, number 82. First and 10 for the Riders from the 34-yard line. And Burgess is back to throw. Over the middle he goes to John Hood. Hood makes the catch and gets up to about the 43-yard line, tackled by Greg Battle, the middle linebacker for the Memphis Mad Dogs. And he anchors this veteran defense. In fact, you look at the defensive front and the backs, all but 2 players have at least 1 season in the Canadian Football League, and collectively the defensive secondary has 65 career interceptions in the Canadian Football League, led by Eddie Ferry, who has 31 in his CFL career. Dean was 8 at 2nd and 2. Hood is the lone back, and he gets the call. Hood out across the 45 to the 46. Should have a Saskatchewan Roughrider first down.
And Gord, look for Saskatchewan to get that running game involved early in this game, because, you know, as good as Memphis defense has been this year, they're not that great against the run. In fact, they're worse team in the league versus the run.
And it's a nice way to keep your defense on the sidelines. That's one of the things we talked about in the opening they've got to do tonight. It was a first down, and Burgess is back in the shotgun. Quickly he goes to Prince Wimbley III. He's out across the 50 to the 51. The stop was made by Don Odegaard, the safety. This is a name that will go up there with wonderful Mons, Rome Nixon, Isaiah Moses Hip, and Julius Caesar Watts is one of the greatest in the Canadian Football League.
It is a great name, and they really like him as a receiver on this team as well. Lots of speed. Comes from Las Vegas, where last year in 14 games he had 714 yards receiving. So they have high hopes for Prince Wimbley.
He got 5. Brings up 2nd and 5. And Burgess again from the shotgun over the middle. And again, he's got Wimbley, and Wimbley should have another Saskatchewan first down as he's in the Memphis territory at the 50-yard line of the Mad Dog.
And Prince Wimbley is in the lineup tonight because Albert Turner hurt his hamstring in practice during the week. And Albert Turner, of course, is the guy with all the touchdowns. 15 catches last year, and he had 5 touchdowns out of those 15 catches. So he's in the lineup because of the injury to Albert Turner.
Wimbley, well known in these parts, a second-team All-American when he played at Alabama. And another Saskatchewan first down. Burgess looking for Larry Thompson. Thompson was closely covered by Damian Lyons right where the grass meets the AstroTurf here at the Liberty Bowl. And Tom Burgess sees the pass fall incomplete for the first time.
Tom Burgess got a lot of different formations. So far, we've seen 3 different formations in 3 different plays. He's going with spread offense. He has his backs in the backfield, and that time 3 receivers to one side and left Larry Thompson alone on the other. So he's got a lot of different looks.
Now he's got 3 receivers to the far side of the field. And flags are flying, and Saskatchewan, the most penalized team in the league, sees the flags fly here again. There may have been early movement. Jake Ireland is tonight's referee. And procedure is the call against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah, that's something they got to stop. 28 penalties so far for 256 yards for Saskatchewan. That's #1 in the league.
Saskatchewan number 61, still 2nd down.
And you know, Ray Yock is not happy about being the most penalized team in the CFL. He's definitely going to change that, especially when your offense is struggling. Penalties are going to kill you. They end drives to get that defense back on. And of course, Gord, we talked about that earlier being a problem for the green and white.
That time it was Paul Vida, the 50-year veteran out of Montreal, who was offside. And it's 2nd and 15. Burgess under pressure, setting up the screen pass, and just threw that ball away. It was hard to see who the intended receiver was. Might have been the running back, John Hood, but he was nowhere to be found. And so Burgess and the offense will have to leave the field for the punting team.
Yeah, a little bit of a mix-up there, I think, in the offense. Tom Burgess wanted to get the screen, and it was going to go to Hood, but Hood either didn't know he had that play or just forgot about the last second because he didn't get out there. There was nothing but offensive linemen out there, and Tom Burgess did the smart thing, just throw the ball in the turf and get his punting team out there.
Brent Matic now to punt. And Adrian Smith, number 12, is back deep to receive. Along with number 15, Kendrick Jones. This is Adrian Smith from the 17, and a shoestring tackle prevented him from getting too far. A stop was made by Ray Elgard, who got the hand in there, and Damon Allen, the offense, will take the field when we come back.
The CFL live on TSN. Brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Bell Advantage Long Distance Services from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Where the Mississippi Delta begins, you'll find the city of Memphis, where the Mad Dogs are home tonight to Saskatchewan in Week 3 of the Canadian Football League season. This is what happened in Week 2 at Taylor Field. We saw Saskatchewan up 19-3 on Edmonton, but the game went into overtime after a 36-minute power outage. Chris Vargas came off the bench for Edmonton with 367 yards to lead the comeback. And here in Memphis, it was BC over the Mad Dogs 31-13. The Mad Dogs offense turned the ball over 6 times in the game. Dr. Rodney Harding yesterday says when you play as well as we did defensively, 6 turnovers is clearly the difference. And here Matt Dunigan and the Mad Dogs offense begin at their own 27-yard line. And Allen is up to throw deep right away, has a man open, and it is caught. A great grab for a first down by Joe Horn all the way down the Saskatchewan 32-yard line. Benson Donaldson and Dale Joseph got back to get him down, but it's a gain of 50 yards.
Nothing fancy about this play. Damon Allen's just going to drop back. He knows where he wants to go all the way. A little bit of a play-action fake, and then down the sideline to Horn, who so far, surprisingly enough, has been his #1 receiver, and Horn lays out for it right where the grass and the turf meet there. And nice catch for Joe Horn right down the sideline to get these Memphis Mad Dogs off to an early start momentum-wise.
Damon Allen with a completion on his first play from scrimmage. And now flushed out of the pocket. Allen's in trouble. Tulka giving chase. Allen trying to find someone open and does. It's Gary Anderson down to the 13-yard line. The ball came loose. And it's Saskatchewan football. Gary Anderson made the grab and appeared to have a good gain, but as he went out of bounds, he lost the football, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders take advantage of an early Memphis turnover to get the ball right back.
Yeah, Damon Allen's just going to try to improvise. This is the thing that Damon Allen gives you. If his line gives out, he can always do it on his own. He finds the guy just downfield in Anderson, and nice play by Damon, but the strip it looks like he just dropped the ball. It really wasn't even stripped there by Brody. It was just a clean drop by Anderson and a turnover for Saskatchewan.
Timothy Brady was the man who forced Anderson down, and he's a newcomer to the Saskatchewan defensive backfield. And now Burgess goes right back to the shotgun on first down, and a long throw to the sidelines. There's Prince Wimbley again, trying to get around his man, and not much doing there. It's the veteran Eddie Berry who was with him step for step, and Berry forced Prince Wimbley down after a gain of maybe a couple.
And there's Tom Burgess doing a lot of different formations again. 3 receivers to one side, and Prince Wimbley was the checkoff guy versus his own defense, and he hit Wimbley out there, and it looks like Wimbley is going to be one of his main targets. You know, Ray Elgard is not in the top 17 in pass catchers in the league after 2 games, and that is very surprising.
Just 2 catches last week for 29 yards for the CFL's all-time leading receiver. On 2nd and 8, another quick throw, and this time the ball comes loose for Memphis. They went back to Wimbley, and Greg Battle comes up with a fumble, and the Memphis Mad Dogs have the ball right back as we've had 2 turnovers in the first half of the first quarter.
Greg Battle always around the football, and what a hit there, though. Just going to get a little slant pattern by Wimbley, and Ed Berry comes up and just puts a helmet right on the ball. You know, coaches often tell you, tackle the football. He did in that case. It was a D-cleater. Look at those cleats straight up in the air. That's a D-cleater, and ball comes out, Battle recovers.
The 2-time CFL Defensive Player of the Year comes up with the football, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders are right back on defense. as Memphis has it 1st and 10 just outside the 20-yard line. Allen with the toss to Gary Anderson. Anderson trying to get outside, and Joseph just threw him out of bounds. A gain of 5 yards out to the 16-yard line.
And Damon Allen definitely wants to take advantage of this turnover.
Damon Allen, 49% passing this year. First time he's been under 50% in 5 years. And you see the rest of the lineup. This is a very inexperienced offensive line. Only the center, Vance Hammond, has CFL experience. That was 1 year with the Sacramento Gold Miners. And you see Eddie Brown, number 1. He has been Damon Allen's favorite target so far this season. Game was 4, 2nd and 6. And Allen looking again for Horn right at the goal line. And that time, Benson Donaldson was with him step for step. And the pass ball's incomplete for Joe Horn, the man who went to Itawamba Junior College in Mississippi, right next door.
A good start to the season for Horn. 8 catches for 144 yards and 1 touchdown so far this year. Damon Allen put 3 receivers to his left and then just went back to the one-on-one matchup with Horn and Benson Donaldson, and Horn timed his jump. It just went through his hands, but that's a ball that he'll bring down for Damon Allen.
And now the new field goal kicker for Memphis, Joe Allison, is in the game. He played his collegiate football here. Allen with the hold. Allison missed it, and that's been a problem for Memphis all season long. Chris Gardner, their previous field goal kicker, was cut after 2 games. He went 4 for 10. And this time, Joe Allison misses. It's a point for Memphis, but a missed opportunity. How do you put a Canadian field in an American stadium? Well, Glenn, you improvise.
You squeeze it in there, and there is some differences from this end zone. First of all, on the sidelines, the end zone is actually only 7 yards deep. I was talking to Vincent Donaldson. He says that's actually an advantage for the corners because they can play hard inside knowing that a receiver can't run it out. Also, the concrete, if you stand in the corner of the end zone down there, you can reach across and touch the concrete. Very dangerous for the players. The other thing is footing. The grass halfway through the end zone turns into artificial turf. The players, especially from Saskatchewan, but both teams, not sure what footing to wear. If you wear a studded cleat, just slip on the turf. If you wear a turf cleat, you don't get the traction on the grass. And, of course, in the end zone, it slopes downhill.
And 4 yards from the sideline all the way around, the AstroTurf begins. They're hoping to address that next season. After the missed field goal from 23 yards out, first down Saskatchewan. Here's John Hood, and Hood picks up a gain of 5 yards on the play. Alex Gordon, the first-year defensive end out of Cincinnati, comes up to make the stop, a member of the NFL's all-rookie team in 1987. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders think they found the man to replace Mike Saunders in former Hamilton Ticat John Hood.
Yeah, 22 carries for 72 yards so far in 1995. And they want 4 and 5 yards a shot out of this guy. And Ray Yawk thinks he's the man that can do it.
That time the game was 4, 2nd and 6. And Burgess is back to the shotgun. Burgess with time, looking for Prince Wimbley. Is anyone else out there? That's another pass intended for Wimbley. This time it falls incomplete.
Yeah, and Wimbley's out there on the 3-receiver side. Again, Tom Burgess going with 3 receivers to one side and 1 on the back side. He's trying to mix up formations. And Memphis was in a zone defense, so when you're in a zone, you go to the underneath checkoff route, and that was Wimbley in that case, but they just couldn't click. And Tom Burgess has been struggling this year. He's had the receivers open oftentimes, but he's just missed them with the passes.
Brett Maddox back to punt again. Adrian Smith is back along with Kendrick Jones. And too much time, I believe, taken by the kicker, Brett Maddox. And they'll have to retreat 5 yards and do it again.
And some people may think that's not a very big penalty, 5 yards, but in a field position game, every yard counts.
Procedure, Saskatchewan number 81, still 3rd down.
They got Elgard for moving.
I talked to the refs before the game in Edmonton last week, and they say Ray Elgard, when he rolls up to the line of scrimmage on offensive plays, is offside probably 4 or 5 times, but it's so close, they don't want to call it.
He's the all-time leading receiver. Maddox gets a driving kick away. And this is Adrian Smith from the 30. Smith trying to get outside, and David Pitcher cut up with him, forced him out of bounds at the 43-yard line, and that's where the Memphis Mad Dogs will begin after really missing a great opportunity off that Saskatchewan turnover. That's been the story of their season. The defense plays well, the offense comes in and sputters, and then the kicking game is horrible.
Yeah, and you know, in fairness to Memphis and to Damon Allen, I mean, he has Eddie Brown. That's his guy that he's worked with before, his veteran. But other than that, he's working with rookies. Joe Horn's a rookie. Gary Morris, the slotback, is a rookie. And Brad Breedlove, all rookies. So it's going to take some time for this offense to gel.
First and 10 for the Mad Dogs, and Allen back quick to the throw. To the sidelines, he's got Gary Morris, and Morris is out of bounds at the 50-yard line for a gain of 6.
Nice catch by Gary Morris, concentrating, keeping his feet in bounds on the sideline. He came over from Hamilton, where he spent a couple years there, and again, that's another thing where Damon Allen has to keep working with his new guys and make sure he gets some timing down. It's all timing on offense, and early in the season, it's tough when you got 3 rookies as your receivers.
Had just 3 catches for the Ticats last year. He passed that in his first game. The fake to Anderson, and Allen trying to get outside. He got around Bobby Jurison, and now Allen has a first down and more into Saskatchewan territory and down to the 48-yard line. Bobby Jurison had Damon Allen in his sights, but the elusive Allen got away.
Yeah, and you know, Matt Dunnigan started this. It's called the Sally Ran. It's a naked bootleg. Oftentimes when he fakes it, no one on the offense knows if Allen's going to keep it or not. Dunnigan started it, Allen perfected it, and Bobby Jurison is one-on-one with Damon Allen, and he doesn't have a chance. All he can do is keep him contained, and hopefully he gets help from his buddies.
Gain of 13 yards and a first down into Saskatchewan territory, and Allen looking for an open receiver. Look out, just as he got hit, Allen threw it. And he was looking down there to the sideline for Brad Breedlove. And Dan Rashovich got a piece of Damon Allen just as he threw the ball.
Yeah, and Damon Allen knows that they're going to be a lot of man-to-man defense in Saskatchewan. They try to run the pick to the right side of the field, but a great job by the Saskatchewan defense in coverage. And then Dan Rashovich coming from the backside to put pressure on Allen just as he got the ball away. Dan Rashovich, the 12-year veteran, been on a few teams, but he started out as a great special teams player and has become a great linebacker.
From your old school, Simon Fraser.
Used to be roommates.
There you go. Oh, Damon Allen dropped the football. Now he's got it back, and he's in trouble. He got buried, and this time there was no getting away from Bobby Jurison. The old hunter from Michigan got fooled the first time. He wasn't going to get fooled again.
Well, he was outside on that first one-on-one with Damon Allen. Damon Allen could see him, and that time Allen was trying to scramble to get the football because he lost the handle on the snap. Again, he's got an all-rookie offensive line. That's another thing he's getting used to. And Jurison coming over, he gets kind of a free one, but hey, he'll take it, and that's his 115th career sack. And when they look at the record book at the end of the year or at the end of his career, they don't know that one he just fell down and tagged him.
Actually, when he's retired, he'll tell how he ran across the field and chased him. Pete Gardier, the former punter for the Sacramento Gold Miners, gets it away. Here's Aaron Ruffin from the 20 and up to about the 28-yard line, which is where the Saskatchewan Roughriders will get the ball back. 1-0. Memphis leads Saskatchewan.
Welcome back to CFL Control. As we mentioned off the top, it is Ray Yock's dilemma. Do you go with Jones or Burgess? Obviously going with Burgess. Here's what Yock had to say on the problem.
I think that we have 2 quarterbacks. We had 2 last year, and we used them both effectively. And we want to get back to that. We feel that we can incorporate both them into our team. We're sort of a team, and we don't really have any big stars. We sort of all work together. And if Tom isn't going good or not putting points on the board, then Warren's ready to come in. He's more ready this week than he was last week. His wife just had a baby. He's all settled down now, and I think everything will go well if he goes in the ball game. So we won't hesitate to use either one of them.
In a 3-week stretch last year, Warren Jones completed 70% of his passes for 529 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Saskatchewan won those 3 games. Then Warren Jones got hurt, but you can see last year he completed 60% of his passes, 58% lifetime. So Tom Burgess may be looking over his shoulder. First and 10 for Saskatchewan from the 28-yard line, and Burgess wants to air it out. And he had a man for a moment. He was looking there for Don Narcisse. Pass ball is incomplete as CFL veteran Don Smith. He's Western All-Star for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in '93 and '94, was there for the coverage.
Yeah, and Don Narcisse is #1 receiver for Tom Burgess in the last 2 games. 14 catches for 147 yards in those games. Great route runner. He's got the one-on-one with a real good corner in Don Smith, and just can't reach out for the ball. But, you know, because of the coverage of Don Smith in that position, it had to be a perfect throw for Narcisse to get it, and it was off by inches.
Brings up a 2nd and 10 for Saskatchewan. Burgess has time. Has a man, Larry Thompson. The pass went through his hands and incomplete. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders are 2-0 as the punting unit comes back on the field.
Yeah, and it's Tom Burgess. Really not his fault in that case. I mean, that was a ball that Larry Thompson definitely wants to catch. He'd like to have this one back. He's just going to run the inside pick on his own defense. The halfback is going to come up, but he's got lots of time and lots of space. This goes right through his fingers. And for a struggling quarterback, his receiving core really need to make those catches for him and get some first downs together.
First 4 possessions for Saskatchewan, 3 punts and an interception. Not the kind of start this offense was looking for. And Matic gets it there to Adrian Smith at the 44. Smith bottled up very quickly as Bruce Boyko is down to make the tackle for the Riders.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by 3M Canada, imagining the unthinkable and developing the unknown. That's 3M Innovation at work.
Welcome back to Memphis. If there's a city where a radio station could go through the Elvis catalog, this would be it. They play Elvis during all the stoppages in play. No wonder Graceland is just a couple of blocks from here. On first down, Damon Allen draw play to Gary Anderson, and he gets pelted back. As jumping in to help make the stop was the newcomer Troy Alexander. Alexander, the 4th pick overall in the ~95 CFL draft, is actually a cousin of J.C. Watts, the congressman from Oklahoma.
Congressman J.C. Watts. I played against J.C. Great quarterback. Great. You know, he was one of those quarterbacks that would come out in the field limping and then run right by you for a 90-yard touchdown.
What's fun about that? The game was won. Early movement, no flags on 2nd and 9. Allen brings the ball down. He's off and running. Gets by Alexander. Gets the first down and gets down to the 45-yard line. You mean like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. You know, Damon Allen, it looks to me like he is in one of these moments where he has decided he's going to take control of this football game by himself. He has a young offensive line that sometimes miss assignments and let some guys free, and he's going to take control. He's scrambled 4 or 5 times already.
Damon Allen said before the game that he's consciously going to run the ball more. Just 65 yards rushing coming into this game. And last year, Damon Allen had his worst year rushing in the last 6 years. So he knows he needs to run to be effective. He picked up the first down on a gain of 15, and now he's got it inside of Joe Horn. And Horn gets inside the 30 to the 27. Terrell Ulmer is there to make the stop, but it's another Memphis first down.
And you know, a lot of people probably wonder why Horn is the #1 receiver for Damon Allen. But you know, when you got a guy like Eddie Brown with all his stats backing him up, oftentimes defenses will pay extra attention to Eddie Brown, and then you need to have that other guy to go to. So far, Horn's been it.
Horn scored the first Mad Dogs touchdown a couple of weeks ago. On first down, Allen gets away, brings it down over the middle and incomplete. And again, Damon Allen had trouble from the Saskatchewan rush, and it again was Dan Rashovich who got there to put pressure on the Memphis quarterback.
All-West All-Star in 1990. Dan Rashovich had his best year, 80 tackles that year, and he wants to get back to that form. You know, Saskatchewan's going to send a lot of blitzes. He just steps over the lineman and that puts the pressure on Damon Allen. Dan Rashovich and that linebacking core for Saskatchewan are going to be after Allen all game.
As Greg Battle and the Memphis defense look on, Dan Rashovich and the Saskatchewan defense that are getting the work out right now. Allen swings it out for Gary Anderson. Had trouble hanging on to the football, and as he finally got a hold of it, that allowed linebacker Timothy Brady to close on the ball and limit the gain to nothing, maybe a yard.
And Saskatchewan again playing the man-to-man defense. When you do that, you're going to see a lot of pick patterns by Memphis, and that's what happens here. Pick pattern, trying to get the back out in the flat and get some picks on the linebacker trying to cover him. In that case, Brody comes up and makes a nice play getting him out of bounds. But You're going to see a lot of pick patterns from Memphis because Saskatchewan's in so many different man-to-man defenses and different blitz looks.
And again, the field goal unit is out there. It's Joe Allison. He missed from 23 yards out earlier. Now from 35. And he missed the other way. If anyone out there has ever kicked a football from 30 yards out, call 1-800-MAD DOGS. You could play in the second half. They just cut their last kicker, and Joe Allison, a Memphis native who played his college football here, has the second goal of the game. It's 2-0 Memphis.
Yeah, and Chris Gardner, 4 of 10. That's why he was released. You know, Allison was here in training camp, but they went with Gardner first. Now Allison's having the same kind of problems. I don't know, maybe it's the dog biting on the tees.
That must be it. You know, in a league that has historically had trouble keeping players warm, we have sideline coolers now. As you know, it's tough.
I've never seen that. I have never seen that. I've seen coolers to keep you warm, but never sideline coolers to keep you cool.
And Warren Jones is into the game for Saskatchewan. So Ray Yock has gone to the bullpen, and on first down, Jones is gunning, and it's almost intercepted. Donald Smith almost stepped in front of that pass and made Warren Jones' debut in 1995 a forgettable one. Instead, it's just second down.
Yeah, Warren Jones hasn't thrown the football in this offense yet this year, so it's going to take a little bit to get his timing down, but he just overthrew that one.
Now, with Tom Burgess now on the bench, how about this? There isn't a single Saskatchewan Roughrider on the field who has scored a touchdown this year.
Yeah, that tells you their problems right there in a nutshell.
They've only scored 2 touchdowns so far this year. Albert Turner's hurt. He has 1, and Tom Burgess is on the sidelines. He's got the other. On second down, Jones looking into double coverage there, and the pass ball is incomplete. Prince Wimbley must have tipped the quarterbacks a lot of dough because Junior Robinson got in there to tip it away, but Prince Wimbley has been a major target so far today. 2-0 is the score here in Memphis. Let's go back to CFL control. And Darren Detition, as the first quarter comes to a conclusion here in Memphis, the Mad Dogs D is keeping Saskatchewan off the board thus far.
This CFL Live update is brought to you by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Welcome back to CFL Control. The Montreal Expos are back in action tonight. They are currently playing the Phillies, and the Spos have gotten off to a great start in this baseball game. Tyler Green pitching to David Segui. One man on. He'll go deep to the right side. It's a 2-run shot. The Expos jumped out to a 6-1 lead in this baseball game. As I said, they're really giving it to the Phils in the 4th inning of play. Montreal went into this contest looking for a victory. They need to make a run in the second half as they were 11.5 back. We will take a short break. Stay tuned. Back with more in moments.
Darren, hope it's cool where you're looking on because it certainly isn't here. Tim Cofield and company can't get close enough to that sideline air conditioning, and you know the big guys suffer the most in heat like this.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could get one of those set up here. You think that's possible?
Nope. Well, fight you to the death for one of those. It is hot and muggy here as we open the second quarter with a familiar sight in the game so far. Brent Matic back to punt for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This will be his 5th punt. And he gets a good one away. Adrian Smith retreats all the way back to his 21-yard line. And now looking to get some blocks. He heads upfield, gets tripped up as he crosses the 30-yard line. As the stop was made down there by John Hood. The numbers through the first 15 minutes for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, just 32 net yards. Penalized twice rather for 10 yards, and both teams turned the ball over once, but the 32 yards, the last thing Saskatchewan needed to do in the opening quarter of a football game like this.
And the big thing about that stat, the turnovers, they had 1 each, but neither team able to capitalize and get any points out of it, and that's definitely a concern for both teams.
Hey, Memphis got a single. On first down, here's Allen trying to get loose, and Allen gets buried. Ron Getz got in there early and then got some late help from Glenn Kulka and LeBrant Robinson, and Damon Allen had nowhere to go.
13 tackles for Ron Getz, 1 fumble recovery and 1 knockdown. 1995 leads the team in tackles, and it's just a wave of white shirts, and that's the only way a lot of times you can get Damon Allen on the ground. It starts out with good contain out there by Dan Razovich, and then Ron Getz with the pressure, and LeBrant Robinson and those that front three. And actually, the Saskatchewan defense, we'll talk about a little later, has made a little bit of adjustment going with the 34.
Loss was 13 at 2nd and 23. Allen goes out to the flat, and Gary Anderson has had trouble hanging on to the ball throughout his career, and that time he couldn't squeeze it.
That's right. And when we're talking about a 34 defense, Saskatchewan has been running with 4 defensive linemen, true defensive linemen, and now they're going with 3 and 4 linebackers. And Anderson just dropping the ball, trying to run before he catches it. You know, if your coaches always tell you, make sure you secure the catch first and then go upfield. If you take the peak, oftentimes that's when you lose concentration. But the defense for Saskatchewan, going with that 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, they feel they get some different looks that way.
Gary Anderson has not played much in the last couple of years, just 28 carries in the last 2 years coming into this football game. Pete Gardier is back to punt. Hangs it up high for Aaron Ruffin at the 41. And Ruffin off and running. Doesn't get much as he gets across the 46-yard line. And the tackle is made there by Vance Hammond, the center. Well, tomorrow we're going off to Birmingham, Alabama. Oh, I'm sure it'll be much cooler there. The Hamilton Ticats will take on Matt Dunnigan and company. So we get an Alan Dunnigan weekend, kind of like an Edmonton reunion here. And the game comes your way at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. Here it is Saskatchewan starting 1st and 10 from its own 46-yard line, and thus far the Riders have been unable to get their offense on track. Warren Jones from the shotgun. Jones had trouble with the snap, now gets loose, throws it to the sideline. Larry Thompson makes the tackle, or the catch rather, at the 53-yard line. The tackle is made on the play by the corner, Damian Lyons.
It's nice to get Warren Jones his first catch out there, but Larry Thompson had a great offseason of weight training, and he's ready to play this year. He had eight catches so far for 100 yards in the 95 season, and prime target.
Aim for the hip. Aim for the hip. Right there. Trap first with the color jersey. You're on the wheel. Right inside here.
The X's and O's on the sideline.
Kane was 7 at 2nd and 3, and here is Hood bulling his way across midfield into Memphis territory down about the 53-yard line. That's a gain of 4 and a first down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and those have been rare enough in this opening half.
Saskatchewan definitely needs to keep this drive alive and just get a little confidence for that O-line. And I've also noticed, Gord, that Ray Elgard was out of the lineup for a couple of those plays, and Joey Yock was in there. So sure, if anything's wrong with Ray Elgard, we'll have to check on that and see what's wrong with him. But good first down, and keep that Saskatchewan drive going and get a little confidence for Warren Jones in the offense. They desperately need it now.
From the shotgun on first down, Jones has time, has a man, and he's got Prince Wembley down to the 44-yard line. And Wembley will be about a yard short of a first down, depending on the spot.
Definitely the #1 target for both Tom Burgess and now Warren Jones, and he's just going to run the out cut here, and that's what you call a speed cut, because Prince Wembley takes the turn but doesn't lose any speed. A real nice sharp cut on the grass and gets to the out, and it's tough to cover that because no speed is lost. The receiver stays low and makes that cut full speed.
4 catches for 39 yards for Wembley. He got 9 that time. It's 2nd and 1. The give to Hood. Hood's got the first down as he piled up to the 42-yard line before he was driven back by Greg Battle. Hood got the first down, but he paid for it.
One of the best run stoppers in the game. You know, we've seen Willie Pless a couple times already this year, and he's another one. But Greg Battle, all those great years in Winnipeg, and he just plays on instinct. Turns away Michelle Lamy and stops the run right there, but Saskatchewan only needed 1 yard, so they got the first.
And Bobby Dawson, another excellent defensive player, the Ticats player of the year in '91, helped them out. 6 former Hamilton Ticats joining Greg Battle on this Memphis team. On first down, Jones back to the shotgun. The draw play to Hood, and nothing. Stephen Bates, who spent the 3 previous seasons with, guess who? The Hamilton Ticats, came up to make the stop.
5 tackles and 1 sack for Bates so far in 1995. Comes over from Hamilton. This guy's a big one, 6'4", 245. He's got good quickness and good move. Does the spin turn there and hits him right in the hole. Hits Hood right in the hole and holds him for no gain. Nice play by Stephen Bates.
And Hood is the injured Saskatchewan Roughrider. as Bates put the lick on him. So we'll see Darren Joseph, the former Ottawa Roughrider, who was acquired just at training camp, come in for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And the Hamilton factor is certainly a big one in this Memphis lineup, and you wonder, they must have, Greg Moens, of course, is the personnel director for the Memphis Mad Dogs, who used to be in Hamilton. So, of course, he knew where all the good ones were.
Yeah, and he brought over a couple of great ones. You know, Bobby, you talked about Bobby Dawson early, 16 tackles, 1 sack for him. He's leading the team. You got Cofield, Tim Cofield. How about his 1994 all CFL season when he had 16 sacks? So they definitely brought some talent over.
Tim Cofield with 35 sacks in the last 2 years in the Canadian Football League. No one has more. And look at the experience that this defense has for Memphis, led by Rodney Harding. In fact, when you combine Harding and Cofield's season last year, 32 sacks together in 1994. And we'll try to see what happened to John Hood, as Ivan Gutfriend, the Saskatchewan trainer, is out there attending to him.
Yeah, it looks like he just gets twisted down, and when you do that, it's oftentimes ankle or knee, and it looks in this case like it was the ankle right against the turf that was the problem. So, you know, if you had to take a choice, no one wants to get hurt, no one wants to see anyone get hurt, but if you have to take a choice, you'd rather it be the ankle than the knee, because ankle you can recover in 2 to 3 weeks. If it's bad, a knee is oftentimes the end of the season for you. So if it is the ankle, which it looks like it is for Hood, that's better of the two.
Well, he's up and moving and appears to be all right, so it's a good sign for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who had tabbed him to be the replacement for Mike Saunders.
You got to go back to those two, Rodney Harding and Tim Cofield, in their sacks. You know, they are the only two in the league that have 5 sacks in one game, both of them, and they're on the same team right now.
Loss was 3 at 2nd and 13. Jones, here comes the rush, and the throw is behind Larry Thompson. And again, Damian Lyons is there for the coverage. And Warren Jones felt the heat that time from the Memphis defense. And I'll tell you what, people in the Canadian Football League are talking about this Memphis D. They said the Calgary Stampeders couldn't get players open against them.
Yeah, and they're sending a lot of pressure as well. They got linebacker help up in there, and Warren Jones had to throw off his back foot. And when you're throwing that out to the wide field in Canadian football, if you don't step into the throw, it's an awfully long throw, and it was behind Larry Thompson. Jones just let it hit the ground, but it was the pressure that caused the play.
Adrian Smith, another ex-Tican, is back there. He's on the left of your screen, number 12, and Brent Maddich drives a low kick to his backfield mate, Kendrick Jones, and Jones spins his way up across the 20 to the 23-yard line. In a defensive struggle, the Memphis Mad Dogs lead the Saskatchewan Roughriders by a score of 2-0.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Bobby Dawson and the CFL's stingiest defense in Memphis have been giving Ray Yock and his quarterbacks fits so far in this football game.
And Ray was a little uptight. You could tell, you know, Ray's a pretty relaxed, easygoing guy, but you could tell there was the importance in this football game when you saw Ray on the sideline. Little uptight, little more nervous than I've ever seen Ray Yock. And both teams know how important this game is. Both teams 0-2 and desperately need a win to get some momentum. So this one's important for that man.
Ray Yock couldn't believe it yesterday. 2 of his assistant coaches went jogging. One of them, Richie Hall, almost had to be hospitalized. He was 105 yesterday. Who's going running in that? Players moving early here. Flags flying everywhere. And Jake Ireland and company will have to sort that out. But Richie Hall almost wound up in a styrofoam cup going for a run yesterday.
That's how hot it was. He said he just overheated.
Procedure. Memphis number 63. Still first down.
Another one of those first-year offensive linemen, Todd Jones, number 63, was the man called for moving too soon.
That's right. And all this, the whole offensive line, with the exception of Vance Hammond, were our rookies this year. And Vance Hammond, of course, was a defensive lineman previously.
1st and 15, and the give to Gary Anderson, nothing doing. LeBrant Robinson almost took the handoff. He got in there and stuffed the former San Diego Charger.
LeBrant Robinson makes a nice play on the run. This is the #1 defensive team against the run, ranked 1st in league. They allow only 69 yards per game so far in 2 games. And LeBrant Robinson, like you said, he had the playbook that time, got in the backfield, and almost messed up the play during the handoff. That's how fast he read that one.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 16. And back to the shotgun is Allen. Here comes the rush, and here goes Allen. He saw some room, and he still does. Allen out across the 30 to the 34-yard line. He'll be very close to a Memphis first down as Damon Allen improvises and gets a gain of 16 for a first down for Memphis.
You know, Gard, often Damon Allen improvises, like you said, in the game, but I think in this game, he has decided that he's going to take control and not rely on his rookie receivers, but do things himself. And he sees the opening, takes off and runs. Saskatchewan's in his zone defense. All the linebackers are dropping. When Damon Allen sees that, he finds the hole in the offensive line, takes off, and it's at least 10, 15 yards before he even gets to a linebacker. One problem for Damon Allen has been fumbling the football. Last year, he fumbled 11 times, second most in the Canadian Football League. He got the first down that time to the Memphis 34-yard line. 2-0 is the score for the Mad Dogs. Allen to the sideline, back there for Joe Horn, and Horn has another Memphis first down as he gets up to the 45-yard line. That time the stop was made by Brian Randall, number 22, and last week the Saskatchewan defense really had to improvise with all the injuries. That's right, and Randall is in at the corner because Albert Brown is out with bruised ribs. Randall's the newcomer. He had his first interception last week, but there was a lot of juggling going on, and probably see this matchup quite a bit. Horn on Randall, two young guys, but Randall's the new one on the corner. Pickup of 11, first down Memphis. And here comes Gary Anderson again. Slips away from Rashovich. Gets out across the 50 to the 52. Ron Getz comes up to make the stop. The Riders' leading tackler last year. And leading tackler so far in 1995 with 13. But nice job by Anderson because you always want your running back to make that first guy miss. And Rashovich was right in the hole, but Gary Anderson opened his own hole. Gary Anderson comes into this game ranked 8th in the Canadian Football League in rushing. A 3-time 1,000-yard rusher when he played for the San Diego Chargers. Gain of 7 at 2nd and 3. Allen goes out to the flat. Anderson has the catch. He's close to a first down, but he gets stopped up at the 50-yard line. Benson Donaldson makes a great stop and may have prevented Anderson from getting a first down. It's going to be close, but it was a great tackle in the open field by the hitman. They call him the hitman because he, look, you were talking about last week, he hits guys so hard he often knocks himself out. But they run the pick pattern again and get Anderson out in the flat, and Ron Getz was assigned to cover him, but Getz got picked off by slot back Eddie Brown. That left Benson Donaldson out there to make the tackle, and he did make a great open field tackle to hold him close. Benson Donaldson missed 8 games last year with injuries, and that was a major loss for what was then your team. That's right. Injuries have been a problem for Benson. Last year it was hamstring, and the year before that he had some knee problems, so he's hoping that this year he can get that full season in. Just shy of the first down, right at midfield. It's 3rd and less than a yard. Allen gives it off to the fullback, and Bruce Perkins should have it, but just barely. Another one of the guys over from Hamilton, but it looks like he'll have the first down. Damon Allen usually would keep it in that instance, but you know, oftentimes when you're in 3rd down, you hand it off tackle to that running back, and everyone sort of jumps in the middle there on defense. You can often spring one there. And Perkins was able to get the first down. Last year, just 89 yards rushing, but he was primarily a pass-catching fullback for the Hamilton Ticats. First down. And here comes Gary Anderson. Student body left, they used to call this, and Anderson battles his way up close to the 45-yard line before he's finally wrapped up by linebacker Timothy Brady. And Brady might have taken a few liberties on the tackle, and the Memphis defenders are off their bench asking for a penalty. Gary Anderson again making the first guy miss. That's what makes a great running back. It's either a good running back will get you a few yards. A great one will make that first guy miss and get that extra 1 or 2 yards. Dan Rashovich reads the play well and gets up in there, but makes a miss right there, and then he gets an extra 5 yards out of it before Brody can make the tackle. Brody's getting a little aggressive. You know, they're getting a little frustrated. A drive's going on now, and he wants to do the old hog tie. And you saw offensive lineman Tracy Boyd pushing the running back. That's all he needs is a 300-pound guy pushing him when 250-pound guys are trying to tackle him. 2nd and short. Allen with the fake. Looking deep, has a man, and it is just out of the reach
as he was looking there for Eddie Brown. First pass that's been thrown his way today. And on 2nd and a yard, Damon Allen went looking for 6.
Boy, it is a game of inches, and Damon Allen wants to get the play action. The reason he wants to do that is to hold Dave Van Bellingham, the safety, so that Eddie Brown can get into the middle. He holds him just for a split second, getting Eddie Brown that little bit of room. And he just misses him with the pass right there. But you see Dave Van Bellingham just a couple of steps back do that play action fake.
Last year, Eddie Brown and Damon Allen combined to score 29 touchdowns for the Edmonton Eskimos. Now, on 2nd and short, Bruce Perkins bowls his way ahead. And Perkins has the first down easily as he gets down to the Saskatchewan 40-yard line with 4:15 to play in the first half.
Good job by Memphis, mixing things up, going with a little bit of passes, going deep to keep that Saskatchewan defense honest, stretching them out, and then also throwing in some running plays in there. So they're mixing things up nicely on this drive, but they definitely want to get some momentum in the form of points out of it. Nice off-tackle run for Perkins right up the middle from Hamilton. You know, in 1993, Perkins had a nice year for 812 yards rushing in 93.
Still no touchdowns in this football game, but Pepper Rogers' team is driving. The Memphis Mad Dogs, in their first CFL season, had to educate their fans about what the single means. How you get a single point. Well, they've been doing a good job. They've got more in the Canadian Football League so far than anyone else.
That's not a stat that you want to lead in singles. They want to get more production out of their kicking game.
Unless you get 500.
Yeah.
LeBrand Robinson was the injured player. Looked to be cramped. We'll see more of that, I would think, as the night progresses. 1st and 10 now for Memphis from the Saskatchewan 40. Allen guns it out to the sideline, has his man, and he's off and running. It's Kendrick Jones all the way inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Kendrick Jones with a gain of 31 on his first catch of the football game.
I was talking to Damon Allen before the game, and he says it's great when you have an aggressive defense. They're always in man-to-man because at any given time you can throw it out there. It doesn't matter what kind of pattern you really throw. In this case, it was just a slant, but you have one guy miss a tackle or one guy slip, and it turns into a big gain, and that's what happened there.
Kendrick Jones, that's his first Canadian Football League catch. He went to wide receiver U, University of Tennessee, a couple of hours from here in Knoxville. And in his first game, he gets a gain of 31 yards with his first catch and gets his team just inside the 10. And the red zone. Spot the danger for the Memphis Mad Dogs. Allen with the toss to Anderson. Anderson looking for the corner of the end zone. Heads upfield, gets inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line. Dan Rashovitz got in to make the stop along with Ron Getz.
Nice job by the Saskatchewan defense to string it out. Bobby Jerson hustling along the line, and you know in this kind of heat, that's tough. And another injury on the field. It's Tyrell Ulmer, number 2, and you see the play develop here. Watch Horn wide receiver come down and make the nice crackback block right here on Tyrell Ulmer. Doesn't see him coming, and that's a tough one right in the ribs. And
is that legal?
That's legal, absolutely legal. As long as you stay up high and come on the crack, you don't have to let the guy know that you're coming in there. And it's up to the corner to tell his halfback and to yell, crack coming, so that he can turn his head and see it coming. But in that case, Tyrell Ulmer didn't hear him, or Vincent didn't tell him because he got him in the ribs.
This Memphis drive, which is 12 plays long already, is taking us down close to the 3-minute warning. 2-0. Memphis leads Saskatchewan.
The CFL on TSN will take you to Birmingham, Alabama, as the Ticats are in town. Hamilton off to a great start. Earl the Pearl Winfield, he's a little banged up, expected to play. Let's go back to the stadium. By the way, it is an 8 o'clock Eastern start. Gentlemen.
2nd and goal from the 4. Gary Anderson tries the other side for the corner. Up, over and in. Touchdown, Memphis. The first rushing touchdown in the history of the Memphis Mad Dogs. Gary Anderson gets to the corner.
And a lot of rushing in this drive, Gord. A lot of mixing up play calling and get a lot of running plays. And this one all starts with big Rob Wallen, 6'4", 285, the right guard of Memphis, and Derek Brown at 6'8", 295, pulling out around the corner. Watch. As you see Anderson pick up the ball, you see those big guards out in front of him. And hey, you got those big guards cutting down Razovich there, and then you got the guard on Vincent Donaldson, who's to the corner. That's a bad matchup for Saskatchewan. Then Anderson takes it up over the top.
And now Joe Allison for the conversion. He's missed 2 field goals already, and this will not count. They may have taken too much time. Oh, Jake Ireland's resetting the clock to 2:49. He blew the whistle before the convert was kicked. He wants the game clock back to 2:49. The Memphis Mad Dogs came into this game as the only team in the CFL that had not scored a rushing touchdown this year. They finally got their first in their 3rd game.
Well, they only had 2 touchdowns all year so far in 2 games, so they'll take them any way they can get them. And that was a nice play all around. Good team offense with the pulling guards coming out, getting the matchups they want. I remember as a defensive back, boy, you see that big guard coming around the corner. There's not much you can really do except for try and create a pile, and that time Anderson skied over top the pile.
I've heard it described as, oh, they missed the snap here, and now Allen rolling out. And he ran into Jake Ireland. He's back at the 35. He throws it towards the end zone, and it falls incomplete. The kicking game has been a nightmare for the Memphis Mad Dogs, and Jake Ireland very nearly had his first CFL tackle. Well, they got their touchdown. The conversion, they'll work on that. We'll be right back. Gary Anderson, who wears his age on his jersey, 34, finds his way to the end zone thanks to the big guys up front.
Oh, just a great job by those pulling guards coming out and pulling tackle coming out around, and Derek Brown and Rob Wallen. They get the guys they're assigned to, and Vincent Donaldson. And Vincent Donaldson doesn't have a chance, but he sure doesn't look 34 when he makes that lead. That's some great airtime.
Heard that described as running for the bus, but on the wrong side of the bus. And then here is the misconvert, the snap from Greg Battle, who snaps for Memphis right through the hands of Damon Allen. And look at Jake Ireland here. Jake almost got him.
Well, he's part of the field, and he almost got ran over like he was on the field, but Damon Allen trying to make something happen on the miss. But, you know, Memphis, talking to some of the players, they're not working enough on special teams. In the CFL, special teams is 1/3 of the game, and very, very important. You can see why.
8-0, Memphis leads. The kickoff now by Joe Allison. Taken by Aaron Ruffin at the 15. Ruffin looking for a seam, found one for a moment, and finally gets wrapped up on the play by Eric Nelson, but not before he gets up to the 39-yard line. And that's where the Saskatchewan Roughriders will begin here in Memphis. And yes, there's a little bit of rivalry between Canada and the U.S. Canada?
Canada.
At least we spell center right. R-E, not E-R.
Well, I can tell them where the Stanley Cup's going to be next year, in L.A. That's my team, the Kings.
Really?
They're going, oh, yeah.
Well, it won't be in Nashville, I'll tell you that. As the Devils appear to be staying in New Jersey for now. So Nashville, up the road a ways, will not be getting an NHL team, at least not in the near future, it would appear. Here, the attendance would look to be about 15,000. They've struggled a bit at the gate here in Memphis, but the heat might have something to do with that. And Alien, the black lab, someone's got a glass of water, and I think Alien wants it.
Yeah, tough to get people out when it's 108 degrees, but a nice crowd, and you know, people are still learning the CFL. And I talked to a lot of people in the city here in Memphis when we were just walking around and stuff. They say this looks like a great game. I think it's going to catch on. So
on first down, Jones guns it up to the sidelines. Larry Thompson makes the catch, and Thompson will have a gain of, it looks to be 5 yards up to the 44-yard line. What a time-consuming drive. 14 plays, 6 minutes and 48 seconds, and they did a lot of it on the ground. Gary Anderson capping it off with that 4-yard score.
And a 45-inch vertical to do it. 34-year-old looked like Michael Jordan going over the top that time.
Hey, Michael Jordan played baseball right next door here in Tim McCarver Stadium when he was with the Birmingham Barons in AA. second down and 5. Jones is under pressure, gets it away and complete to Ray Elgard. And Elgard is all the way down to the Memphis 40-yard line. So Ray Elgard, who was on the bench for a while, gets a gain of 25. And Saskatchewan is moving to the hurry-up offense. That's career catch number 775 for Elgard.
Yeah, you got to get Elgard involved. They run a zone defense, Memphis does, and Warren Jones finds some time and then finds the hole in the defense where Elgard just slides in. I mean, 12-year veteran Ray Elgard will find a hole in any zone defense, and he does there. They got to get him involved in the offense.
Ray Elgard needs just 28 yards now to become the first CFL receiver to go over 12,500 yards receiving.
We were talking about it earlier, Gord, about the fact that Ray Elgard is not in the top 17 in receivers in the CFL after 2 games, and that's just unheard of when you have a guy with this much talent and this much ability in Ray Elgard. Every time he gets his hands on the ball, he can make something happen with it, and got to get the ball in his hands.
Just 2 catches last week. He gets his first catch this week with 2:07 to play in the first half. Ray Elgard, the CFL record holder, with 8 1,000-yard receiving seasons.
And, you know, Elgard's a team guy. He's not one of those guys that's going to go in the huddle and start complaining about the fact that he's not getting the ball. He wants to see the team be successful, and he knows his role, and he's just hoping. I know he's getting frustrated. I talked to him before the game. He says, I got to get some catches.
Got his team a big first down there. 1st and 10 from the Memphis 41. Jones with the fake. Up the sideline to Larry Thompson, and tight roping up the sidelines. He goes out of bounds at the Memphis 25-yard line, and a good job to get out of bounds. He stops the clock with 1:44 to play.
And a nice play by Warren Jones and Larry Thompson, because Larry Thompson had run 3 quick outs prior to this play. This time he runs the out and up. Warren Jones pump fakes him there, and he gets Damian Lyons breaking on that out and gets him behind. And had that ball been thrown a little more inside, he would have had about 10 or 15 more yards.
Now first down from the 25. Jones under pressure, trying to get away from Rodney Harding, and that's into row 3. The crowd wants intentional grounding, and there is a flag at the 35-yard line as 11-year veteran Rodney Harding got there, and unless Warren Jones had a receiver selling hot dogs, that's grounding.
Well, you say when you're man-to-man, if your receiver goes get the hot dog, you get the mustard. So both Damian Lyons and LT were up there.
And it is against Saskatchewan for intentionally grounding the football. That'll be a costly penalty. Could take them out of field goal range.
You know, I'm really surprised that they called that, because Larry Thompson was over there on the sideline. It was definitely grounding.
Intentional grounding. Saskatchewan number 6. Loss of down. 2nd down.
I'm a little surprised at the call. I mean, it's definitely grounding. He was throwing the ball away because he was under pressure, but Larry Thompson, who is an intended receiver, is standing right over there. So where do you draw the line if it's just barely an overthrow? So, I don't know. That was a questionable call.
You're kidding, right?
Questionable call.
2nd and 20. Jones looking there for Prince Wimbley, and Wimbley makes the catch. He's up to the 25-yard line, the original line of scrimmage, but that'll leave Saskatchewan 10 yards short of the first down.
Boy, Prince Wimbley really impressed with his speed move. He breaks on that out, but doesn't lose any speed, and Robinson can't read it, and then leaves his feet in great concentration to bring the ball down.
And now with the situation 3rd and 10, Dave Ridgway and the field goal unit come on, and Dave Ridgway must have looked on in bemusement with the missed convert for Memphis. It's been 204 consecutive since he missed one. That's a streak that goes 7.5 years.
Yes, there's definitely no problem with the Saskatchewan kicking game.
This field goal try will come from 32 yards out. Joey Yacht takes the high snap, gets it down, and Ridgway missed it.
Okay, I jinxed my buddy. I jinxed him.
Saskatchewan's on the board, but Ridgway with the miss from 32 yards out. 8-1 is the score in favor of Memphis with 1:11 to play in the first half. Our intermission is coming up, and with more on that, here's Darren DeTitian.
Thanks, Gordon. Coming up at halftime, we will have highlights from last night's matches. How about the Argos game? Hamilton and Birmingham. We'll preview that battle, and you guys will give us your first half thoughts. Gentlemen, back to you.
My first thought in this game,
it's hot. It's hot. It is hot. I'm surprised we haven't seen more cramping. LeBryant Robinson cramped up a little bit, but you know that O-line for the Memphis Mad Dogs averaged 291 pounds and 6'5". Surprised they're not cramping up.
Damon Allen gives it to Gary Anderson. Glenn Kulka jumped all over him. Held Anderson to a gain of a couple. That'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
And Damon Allen really controlling things now. He's got nice play calling. He's mixing up run, doing a little pass, and then when he wants to, when he really needs it, he's taking the ball and taking it himself for the big gain. So he's definitely made a decision, a conscious decision, that he wants to control this ball game with not only his play calling, but also his running ability.
170 career touchdowns for Damon Allen, and our thermometer says it's cooled all the way down to 82 degrees on the field. Well, that's nice. It's 9 o'clock and it's only 82 degrees.
I think someone put the thermometer by the coolers.
Here's the pass for Gary Anderson, and Anderson kind of just let that fall to the turf. That was very nearly a lateral, and that's certainly what Glenn Kulka was thinking. But Gary Anderson's had trouble squeezing the football.
Yeah, he has. And, you know, oftentimes when there's this much humidity in the air, it's a problem, especially you got those gloves on. I think Anderson's got one glove on. He gets out there and
Michael Jackson?
The Michael Jackson look, and the ball just slips. That's just lack of concentration. You know, Anderson, a lot of times those running backs look downfield before they catch the ball.
Hey, that'll teach you to wear one glove in Elvis country.
Well, now there's a relationship there.
That's right.
If I'm not mistaken.
He's the father-in-law. That's right.
The father-in-law.
I forgot all about that. Aaron Ruffin and Tyrell Ulmer are back deep, really deep with his punt from Gardere. Here's Tyrell Ulmer. Greg Battle gets in his face, forces Ulmer back up the field. He does a good job to get a return of 10 yards as he gets up to the 34-yard line. A 50-yard punt by Pete Gardere. And Warren Jones and the Saskatchewan offense come back out with just 29 seconds left in the first half.
And a good job by Tyrell Ulmer just getting back in the lineup. Of course, he was the recipient of that crackback block earlier, and it looks like his ribs are okay. You know, Saskatchewan's punt return teams have been a pleasant surprise in the 1995 season. Aaron Ruffin has 11 for 167 yards. He's 2nd in the CFL, and that was a nice run by Tyrell Ulmer.
They'll need plenty of that in the second half.
Full oxygen.
Warren Jones going back to the shotgun, so Saskatchewan will try to get something here before the end of the half, and what they'll get is a sack for Tim Cofield as Cofield mops up as Memphis had plenty of pressure on the Saskatchewan quarterback. Cofield got in his face, and the two-time All-Canadian dropped Warren Jones.
It's a good thing he did. Tim Cofield has 1 sack already in 1995, and it's a good thing he got that pressure on the nice spin move and comes underneath, gets a sack on Warren. He had a lot of pressure from that whole front four of Memphis, and I tell you what, Prince Wembley was wide open down the sideline, had the pressure not been there.
The NFL's strongest man. Back in 1988, he bench pressed a refrigerator full of groceries.
And then ate every one of them afterwards.
I'm sure. He might have been a little hungry afterwards.
Yeah, he's benching well over 500 pounds, talking to Damon Allen.
So that's you, me, and our stats man Dave Moyer together. He could throw us through a window.
That's a lot of weight.
The loss on the play was 8. It's 2nd and 18, and this time you think Saskatchewan will keep the ball on the ground. It does. Here comes John Hood outside, and Saskatchewan will now be content to run down the clock in the final moments of the first half here at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. And we predicted it might be a bit of a defensive struggle. It certainly has been, but the Memphis defense has been absolutely suffocating.
Yeah, they really are sending a lot of people. They're getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, which is a little bit surprising, although Scott Henderson is playing with a little bit of a banged-up knee, and that may be one of the reasons that they're taking advantage of that. But they do have a veteran offensive line there in Saskatchewan, so it's a little surprising the Memphis pressure so far. Although when you got a guy like Tim Cofield and Rodney Harding, I guess it's a good matchup.
Warren Jones watches the clock wind down, which it has now done. So time winds down in the opening half. The Memphis Mad Dogs have their first ever rushing touchdown, but a couple of missed opportunities on the kicking game have kept the lead down to 7. 8-1 is the lead for the Memphis Mad Dogs as we are at the half in Memphis. Coming up next, our McDonald's halftime report.
McDonald's halftime, presented by your local McDonald's restaurant. Here's Darren Detition.
Welcome to McDonald's Halftime. Last night it was billed as a battle between the quarterbacks, Kent Austin and the Argos, versus Danny McManus and the Lions. But in the third quarter, Austin re-injured his leg. He had to leave the game. By the way, Austin is listed as questionable for the Argos' next game. Anyway, the Lions roared back. Then in dramatic fashion, with time running out, Lou Pasaglia made history as he became the first CFL player to break the 3,000-point plateau early on in this contest. It was tied at 7. Derek Branch, he'll take the kickoff. He'll find some room. He hits the 50, the 40. Forget it. He'll go all the way, 90 yards for the major. It's 14-0 for the Argos. We go to the third quarter. Toronto up 21-7. BC coming back. Danny McManus goes to Philpott. He rumbles in for his 6th touchdown of the season. That cuts the lead to 21-14. Kent Austin's calf injury flares up again, and he was forced to leave the game. We go to the dying seconds of this contest. Argos up 34-32. They're not saying boo. They're saying Lou. He nails the 28-yarder that puts him over the 3,000-point mark for his career. The Lions pull it out. They beat the Argos 35-34, while Lou Pasaglia got all the glory. Wayne Lamley and Mike Ferragelli were taking all the heat after a controversial punt late in the game. Meanwhile, in Winnipeg, the Blue Bombers picked up their first win of the year at the expense of the Shreveport Pirates, who fall to 0-3, but by no means was this one really an easy game. The Pirates were up 7-5 when Freeman Basinger will cough it up. It bounces around before Jason Millette finally grabs it. Winnipeg, special teams doing the job. They're up 12-7. Shreveport strikes back. Billy Joe Tolliver will go to Basinger. He hangs on to this one. Pirates take a 14-13 lead. More special teams headaches here. Pirates up 21-20. Rod Harris, yeah, he'll cough it up. Guess who picks it up? Jason Millette. He'll score his 2nd touchdown of the game. Bombers up 27-21. They go on to win 37-29. So Sammy Garza gets a huge monkey off his back, but Winnipeg still has a long way to go. But you know what? Having Mike Oliphant back in the lineup will sure help the Bombers. Could it be another 0-14 start for Shreveport? Let's hope not. And in Calgary, wasn't even close. Doug Flutie threw 3 touchdowns, ran another 2 in as the Stamps had their way with Ottawa, 57-7. The Ruffies are 1-2. Calgary is 3-0. Guess who they play next? The Lions. 1 week from tonight, we will have that game on TSN. Okay, we're going to take a short break, but we leave you with the CFL standings heading into tonight's action. Stay tuned. McDonald's Halftime continues in a few moments. Welcome back to McDonald's Halftime. Tomorrow we will take you to Birmingham for the first ever regular season CFL game in the great state of Alabama as the Ticats and the Barracudas wrap up a home-and-home series. Hamilton drew first blood, winning last Saturday in Steeltown. Tomorrow, though, it's going to be a brand new ball game. Anthony Cavillo, he is expected to play. He did suffer a slight concussion last week. You know who will also be playing? Matt Dunnigan. He will make his first ever regular season start for Birmingham.
Yeah, I think with Matt in there, he's going to present some problems for us. I mean, he's an experienced quarterback, has been a great quarterback in the league, but we have some little things for him too. We're going to do differently, and I think if we can get that steady improvement from the offense and defense, I think we're going to be okay.
Definitely. They'll be different. They'll be coming harder. I think Matt Dunnigan's playing this game, so he makes a difference, just that one person himself. It's going to be a tough game going out there. It's going to be hot, and we're just looking forward to going out, taking out some of the mistakes we did last week and playing a better game.
You know, when they played us last week, they only had like maybe 2 days or to prepare for us. So this week they have a whole week, and they're going to mix it up and try to change things just like we're trying to do right now.
I've always had a mountain of respect for Matt Dunnigan. He's an on-field leader, and they're going to be a different team offensively. Obviously, Matt runs around and he makes a lot of things happen. So they're going to be, especially in front of their own crowd, and they're going to be wanting to entertain the people, and it's going to be, we're going to have to fight every bit as hard and if not some more against these guys down there. It's we're in their park now.
Hey, it's going to be a great game. We will have that one for you. Baltimore and San Antonio, one other game in the CFL. As I mentioned, the Stallions go into this contest 1-1. The Texans also 1-1. The Texans will be looking to avenge the thrashing that the Stallions gave them last week, 50-24. They really put the boots to them. Carlos Herrera, by the way, had 5 field goals in that game. Still more to come on McDonald's halftime, but up next we check in on our game story, and Glenn and Gord will give us their first half thoughts. Stay tuned. Back in a moment.
Over his 13-year career with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, George Reed practically rewrote the record books. 11 seasons he rushed for more than 1,000 yards while leading the league in rushing 6 times. His 137 touchdowns is a record, and his total of more than 16,000 yards makes him the CFL's all-time leading rusher. George Reed, a true CFL legend. And you can see more on Reed and other CFL legends at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton. McDonald's Halftime, brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant.
Welcome back to McDonald's Halftime. You never know about the Canadian Football League. Last night in Ottawa, we get 64 points scored. Tonight, we have a combination of 9 points scored at the half. Let's go to our game story. Tom Burgess, he's out. Warren Jones is in. Burgess replaced in the first quarter after he started the game very ineffective. The total offense, look at Memphis, doubling them up, 219 in terms of yards to Saskatchewan's 111. Horn with 3 receptions for 79 yards. He has been the busiest of the Mad Dogs, at least taking the passes from Damon Allen. And Memphis with 8 points in 4 chances inside the Saskatchewan 35. So the Roughriders have to feel a little bit fortunate in that respect. Let's go back as Gordon Glenn are standing by to give us their first half thoughts. Gentlemen?
Kind of a dog day evening here in Memphis. Glenn, I had a chance to watch some game film with the Mad Dog a couple of weeks ago, and it was against the Calgary Stampeders, and the Stamps, with probably the best offense in the CFL, could not get people open. This is a very good defense.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. You have a guy like Damian Lyons playing one corner, acquired from Edmonton. You have Donald Smith on the other corner, great player in Winnipeg for all those years, and Ed Barry making the change from corner, going into halfback and doing a nice job there. So they got veteran defensive backs that are well known for their ability to cover in man-to-man defense. And then you got a guy like Tim Cofield and Rodney Harding rushing, makes it that much easier.
There's one glaring hole, though, in Memphis that you see, and it's special teams. They're punt returning. They don't really have any kind of set returns. Their punt coverage isn't very good, and obviously their place kicking's awful.
Yeah, they definitely need to work on special teams. You know, Pepper Rogers is going through a little bit of a learning experience with the CFL, and he's, I don't think at this point, aware of the importance of special teams. In the CFL, it's 1/3 of the game. Very important, and they need to spend more time on it.
They do have the only touchdown in the football game so far. Unfortunately, Memphis wasn't able to convert it.
Thanks very much, gentlemen. That'll do it for McDonald's halftime. We are back with more in a moment. 8-1 for the Dogs.
Damon Allen, the Memphis Mad Dogs, came into this game with just 2 touchdowns on the year. They have only 1 in the first half. That would normally not do you very well in the Canadian Football League game, but when your defense plays as well as the Mad Dogs is, it's good enough. And we take a look now at the numbers from the opening half of play in this football game, and the one that stands out, 82 rushing yards for the Mad Dogs, just 15 for Saskatchewan, and nearly twice as many net yards for the Dogs, who have also kept the turnovers down. They gave the ball away 6 times last week.
That definitely is the big stat. Rushing right there, 82 yards. That's more than Saskatchewan has given up in their first 2 games. They've given up 69 yards rushing in their first 2, and they're already at 82 in this half. So definitely a big statistic for Memphis to be able to run the ball on this Saskatchewan defense.
And you see Warren Jones, who spelled Tom Burgess late in the first quarter, and it appears that Jones will go the rest of the way, and his percentage is amazing. Career in the Canadian Football League, a 58% passer, and he's 66% on the day so far.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, and not only that, but he's had some receivers that have been wide open for him, but the pressure has got to him too soon. So the offensive line needs to take part of the brunt of why this Saskatchewan offense is sputtering. You have to have protection for the quarterback. That's where it all starts. The game's won and lost in the trenches. Warren Jones or Tom Burgess, doesn't matter who's in, you got to have time to throw.
And you see Ray Yawk exhorting his troops on. Maybe it's playing in the United States. Tough to figure, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders are 1-3 when they played in the U.S.
Yeah, well, that was when I was playing back then, was part of that stats, and it was always hot. I don't know. I'm trying to find something. I got to find something.
It was the dollar. It was the metric system. It must have been the metric system. Overall, 1-3. 4-5 overall against U.S. teams. That's including games that they played at home. And they last beat a U.S. team. That was Las Vegas last year, the late and largely unlamented Las Vegas Posse. But the Saskatchewan Roughriders, speaking of teams that have trouble on the ground, the Vegas Posse do not have, or pardon me, the Saskatchewan Roughriders rather, do not have a rushing touchdown this year. And last year, Vegas had the worst running attack in the league. This year, Saskatchewan might win the honor.
Yeah, and that's not good, especially today when you got the Memphis defense has been excellent against the pass, but not so good against the run in their first two games. So I know Saskatchewan wanted to run the ball a little more than they have. We'll probably see a lot more running out of John Hood in the second half.
And Joe Allison is having one of those nights. He's missed a couple of field goals. They had a bad snap on a convert. And now he is set to kick it off. Aaron Ruffin and Larry Thompson are back deep to receive. And Alien the dog is primed to run out and pick up the tee. And there's Alien. He's all set. He got his halftime pep talk. Now he's got his camera time.
And they say he's perfect so far in 95.
Really?
Oh, yeah, always gets the tee.
The league's leading dog. This is Aaron Ruffin from the 20, and Ruffin gets up to the 26-yard line. The stop is made by Michael Armstrong, a 55-yard kickoff, a return of 6, and it's time to let the big dog eat.
There he goes.
Here comes Alien. He's looking, can't find it.
Uh-oh, he hasn't missed the tee yet. Where is it?
Alien's confused.
There he's got it. There he goes. Big round of applause for Alien.
Boy, that was almost... that was almost one of those awful moments. Good job, Aaron. This dog has not been on national TV before. He almost choked. Saskatchewan Roughriders start 1st and 10 from their 26-yard line. Ray Elgard is back in the lineup for Saskatchewan. Here's the pass underneath to John Hood, who vaults up to the 30-yard line. And the stop is made after a gain of 4 by Junior Robinson. Not the Junior Robinson that you used to play with. This is a different Junior Robinson. He went to East Carolina, had a couple of interceptions last year for the Sacramento Gold Miners.
Yeah, a couple picks, 13 knockdowns last year for the Gold Miners as well. But he did a nice job in the zone defense. He was playing the corner in the short zone to the wide side of the field. And when Warren Jones found Hood in the flat underneath, he came up and made the hit. So a nice play by Junior Robinson.
On 2nd down, Jones has time, has a man in double coverage. That was intended for Don Narcisse, and Don Narcisse does not have a catch yet in the football game. He has a consecutive game streak of 128 going. He's 9 shy of the CFL record for consecutive games with a catch, held by Tony Gabriel. But right now, Don Narcisse is off the sheet.
Yeah, and he usually likes to get that one. Talking to him over the last few years, he likes to get it early in the game, first quarter, get it out of the way, so he's not thinking about any kind of statistics or records. But 128, he's only got a half to get one tonight.
Kendrick Jones and Adrian Smith are back deep for Memphis. The Mad Dogs average just 4 yards a punt return, by far the worst in the CFL so far. Here's a low driving kick to Adrian Smith back at the 35. That time he beat the average, but he lost the ball. He lost the football. Dan Rashovich looked to jump on it. It's Saskatchewan football, as Adrian Smith got 6 yards on the return, then lost the ball. And Saskatchewan has a big turnover early in the second half.
What a play by Brooks Finley on the coverage. You know, Brooks came into training camp last year. He was a defensive lineman slash linebacker, but he was in between a lineman and a linebacker. This year he lost 20 pounds, does a nice swim technique to get away from the blocking the line. Good hustle down the field and strips the ball. But what a great job by Brooks Finley. Came in 20 pounds lighter, and now he's in between a linebacker and a defensive back.
Saskatchewan has the ball, 1st and 10. Jones out of the backfield for John Hood. Hood gets loose across the 30 and down to the 27-yard line. And the tackle that time is made by Bobby Dawson, but it's a gain of 13 for John Hood. And turnovers killed Memphis last week. And their second turnover of the ball game here is a very costly one.
Yeah, in the first half, both teams had key turnovers but didn't capitalize. So it'll be interesting to see if Saskatchewan can get some points out of this turnover.
Anderson with the snap to Warren Jones in the shotgun. And the pass again for Don Narcisse again falls incomplete. And I would say that the Riders are already in field goal range, but the last time we said that, Dave Ridgway got jinxed. And you know what? We haven't had a successful placement yet in the game. 3 missed field goals and a missed convert.
Yeah, there's got to be, there's something about this stadium. I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's tilted or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but Dave Ridgway doesn't often miss from there, and they're definitely going to need these points to try and gain back some momentum in this game if, in fact, they have to kick the field goal.
2nd and 10. Early movement. Flags are down now, and after the early movement, play is called. Greg Battle thinks it's procedure against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and we saw a very costly procedure penalty in the first half of the game. We'll see what Jake and company saw here. And it is again procedure against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that's a very costly penalty.
Yeah, and these penalties are killing him. You know, it's only a 5-yard penalty, but in this instance, you put yourself 5 yards deeper in field goal range, and Michelle Lamy in there just jumping offside. But you got Tim Cofield on you. You get a little antsy at times, but these penalties are killing the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Now backed up to the 32-yard line of Memphis. 2nd and 15. Jones under pressure, and he is sacked. All kinds of pressure. Rodney Harding got in there. So did Stephen Bates. And now the Riders backed all the way back to the 40-yard line. Will have to try a 47-yard field goal if they so choose.
Rodney Harding's 2nd sack of 1995 season. He still got it. He says he wants to play a couple more years, and that offensive line for the Saskatchewan Roughriders definitely looking a little bit tired. They're lunging, making some mistakes as far as penalties go, and that's always points to being too tired. Somehow these guys are not. Memphis.
Dave Ridgway from the 45-yard line. Jock gets it down, and he missed again. And now they'll bring it out of the end zone. This is Adrian Smith. Up the sidelines he goes, and finally out of bounds. Somebody send me a kicker. Ridgway's missed again.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by The Keg, where good friends get together to enjoy great steaks and share some fun.
Dave Ridgway has missed 2 field goals in this football game. He misses his old holder, Glenn Suter, I think.
Well, I don't know if he misses his holder. I know he's upset about it because, you know, these statistics and him being close to Dave Cutler and Louis Bisaglia really mean nothing to Dave Ridgway right now. He wants to get a win under his belt for the team. That's the kind of guy he is, and I know he's frustrated with not only himself but the whole offense, and he wants to win. He's not worried about stats right at this point.
When's the last time you saw Dave Ridgway miss his first 2 field goal tries? You'd know.
Give me a second on that one.
1st and 10 now for Memphis from the 22. Damon Allen's going to air it out. Looking over the top, he's got Joe Horn. What a grab by Joe Horn all the way down to the Saskatchewan 43-yard line. That's a pass that went 65 yards in the air.
I am really impressed with this wide receiver in Joe Horn. He's the #1 receiver for Memphis, and nice coverage by Randall in the hip pocket. But watch Horn fight for position and cut across Randall's body to make the catch. Just a nice job when the ball was in the air for Joe Horn to cut across, fight for position, because when that ball's in the air, it's anybody's football. Both can go for it. Horn won the battle.
That's a gain of 44 yards, but don't forget Damon Allen was about 12 yards back when he threw it. Man, what a throw by Damon Allen, and a great catch by Horn. Here comes the reverse. Eddie Brown. Damon Allen out in front of him. Joe Horn was trying to block there, and now they've dropped the ball. It's Saskatchewan football at the 46-yard line as Horn lost the ball. And it looked like Timothy Brody was in there to help force it loose.
Again, turnovers. Turnovers hurting Memphis. They had 6 last week. Had a few tonight. They run the reverse to Eddie Brown coming around the other end. Saskatchewan was not fooled. Kalka comes out, strings it out. Tyrell Ulmer from his halfback position comes up, as does Brian Randall from the corner. And Tyrell Ulmer just takes the ball away from Eddie Brown. And big turnover for Saskatchewan if they can make something happen out of it.
Of course, their kicking game has not been the way to do it. 1st and 10 for the Riders on the 2nd turnover by Memphis in the last 5.5 minutes. And the gift to John Hood. Hood, tough yards in there. It gets 5 up to the 50-yard line. But that is 5 the hard way, as Bobby Dawson got in there and gave him a whack.
Bobby Dawson comes over from Hamilton. He's leading the team in tackles with 16. He's actually was a defensive back in Hamilton. But if we get a shot of Bobby Dawson sometime in this football game, well, look at the size of Bobby Dawson's arms. I mean, this guy is huge. He's a defensive back, probably one of the strongest guys on the football team. He's a leading tackler right now for Memphis, and playing in that linebacker position can stop the run.
Jones trying to gun it there. He was looking for Larry Thompson, but the pass falls incomplete. And so Saskatchewan on this occasion, once again, unable to take advantage of the Memphis turnover.
And again, you know, that is not necessarily Warren Jones's fault. Now, these quarterbacks have taken a lot of heat in the last couple of games, but when the receiver sees that, he's got to slow down a little bit. And there's Thompson over there talking about it. And Warren's probably just telling, listen, the defensive back sitting in that zone, you got to just gear it down and let Warren hit you. And that was the reason there. I mean, Larry Thompson just overran the ball.
Matic gets a good kick away. Adrian Smith lets it bounce and out of bounds at the 2. What a kick by Brent Matic. 58 yards, no return, and out of bounds at the 2. Memphis leads the Saskatchewan Roughriders 8-1. Memphis leads Saskatchewan 8-1 in the 3rd quarter. Stay tuned at the conclusion of today's game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Royal LePage. The real estate professionals that make the difference. Aim higher with Royal LePage. 1st and 10, Memphis from the Mad Dogs 2. Damon Allen gets it out wide and has his favorite target, Joe Horn, for a gain of 10, close to a 1st down for the Mad Dogs. And Damon Allen comes up gunning from his own end zone.
Yeah, it was a nice play, 3-step drop and just get the ball out to Horn. Saskatchewan in a man-to-man defense, but with the long balls that Horn's been catching in this football game, you know, he's getting a lot of respect from Vincent Donaldson on one side and Brian Randall on the other. But wow, what a kick by Brent Matic to put it out on the 2-yard line. And if the Saskatchewan defense can hold, it could be a big turning point in this football game.
58-yard punt for him. Horn now 5 catches for 133 yards, and that was a Memphis 1st down. Allen the other way this time, and it falls incomplete for Brad Breedlove, who comes into this game with just 1 catch for 17 yards, and that's the first pass that's been thrown his way in the football game. Now, he plays the left side of the offensive set, and Damon Allen seems to be historically a primarily right-handed quarterback.
Yeah, I remember when we used to scout Damon Allen, he used to go to his right hand a lot or run the ball. That was the thing. But if we wanted to make him a pocket passer, we always felt like our defensive left or his offensive right was where he wanted to go.
On 2nd down, quarterback draw. Allen got by the 1st wave and gets by the 2nd up to the 25-yard line for a 1st down. Dave Van Bellingham makes the stop.
Yeah, we've talked about it for most of this football game, Gord, but I can't believe how much Damon Allen has decided to take control. Again, big situation. This was a called play, 3-step drop, and then go into that quarterback draw. And LeBrant Robinson in the backfield really had the only chance in him, but he was coming from behind, and big LB can't catch Damon Allen from behind, and Allen's in the secondary.
It was a gain of 13 yards and another Memphis 1st down. Now the gift to Gary Anderson, and not much doing there as Aaron Ruffin came up from his defensive halfback spot and made the stop on Gary Anderson, who has the game's only touchdown.
Yeah, and Aaron Ruffin, what a start to the season he's been having. Great 8 tackles so far, 3 knockdowns in 1995, and he was coming on the halfback blitz on that play, and it was a running play, so he never got a chance at a sack, but halfback blitz, and the running play came right at him.
Held the gain to a yard, and you can see the players on both sidelines taking full advantage of the fans and the oxygen. 2nd and 9. Allen. Over the top he goes, and that pass too far for Joe Horn, and Benson Donaldson was with him step for step.
Yeah, good coverage by Horn. Allen knows that he had a chance there because Horn had got inside position on Benson Donaldson, and he just couldn't reach the pass. But watch Horn. He gets upfield and gets Vincent turned around a little bit. Vincent has to regain his composure and get back on his feet, basically, and then that gave Horn inside position, but Allen just missed him with the throw. You know, when you're on that corner on the wide side of the field, you really want to maintain your inside position on a receiver.
Pete Gardere comes into punt, comes into this game ranked 12th in the league in average punting yardage. He almost had that block. And it's fielded by Ruffin. Up around the 50, he gets across midfield and down to the Memphis 52-yard line. A 34-yard punt, a return of 8. Tomorrow, our tour of the Deep South continues as we go to Birmingham, Alabama for the Hamilton Ticats and the Barracudas. Earl Winfield and the Tabbies off to a great start. And that game comes your way at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific here on TSN. Earl the Pearl.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. Looking forward to that game, seeing Dunnigan in action again and those new Birmingham. You haven't had a chance to see them yet.
Saskatchewan begins in Memphis territory at the 53, and here's the pass complete to Prince Wimbley, and he got whacked by veteran Eddie Berry. And Ed Berry says he's trying to get used to playing defensive halfback instead of corner. He seems nice and comfortable now.
5'11", 190 pounds. He's got the weight to be able to bring a little heat. And watch Wembley coming in on that quick slap pattern, and Berry just lowers the boom. And, you know, everyone sees those hits where the feet go flying up in the air and think that those are the big hits. But oftentimes, those ones you just saw there hurt more because both guys have their feet planted.
The gain was 4, and Wembley paid for it. Warren Jones, and that time, maybe the previous hit paid off because Wembley, expecting the hit, had that ball go right through his hands and bounce incomplete.
That's absolutely right, Gordon. That's what being aggressive and playing aggressive football will do for you. When you get a hit in a ball game, you're thinking about it on the next play, and he knew he was going to get a hit. He took his concentration and his eyes off the ball and dropped it. That's Ed Berry's play right there.
Now Brent Maddich, who boomed one 58 yards and out of bounds at the 2, has a chance to do pretty much the same thing here. He's standing in almost the same spot. Another pretty good kick. Smith takes it at the 8, goes out of bounds right at the 10-yard line as he's forced out there by Joey Yock. A 41-yard punt this time and a return of just 2. Memphis leads Saskatchewan 8-1. Welcome back to Memphis, where head coach Pepper Rogers has plenty of experience. Talk about football factories. He's the foreman at Kansas, UCLA, and Georgia Tech. Those are some pretty good football teams. And in the USFL with Memphis, he was 19-19. Here in the CFL, he is 0-2. But he's got some veteran help here. His offensive coordinator here in Memphis is Adam Rita, famous for his complicated offensive schemes. Apparently, the Memphis playbook gives the Memphis phone book a run for its money in terms of thickness.
Well, you know, Pepper's going through a little bit of learning experience with the new rules in the CFL, but hey, he's got a guy like Adam Rita to help him out.
Another good kick by Maddich locks the Mad Dogs inside their own 10. Gary Anderson got a couple of yards, and now LeBrant Robinson has him tied up along with Timothy Brody, and Timothy Brody has had an impressive game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the second-year man out of Murray State in Kentucky.
That's right. He played in Las Vegas in 1994, had 48 tackles and 4 sacks there, and he did a nice job on the run there. And well, you can see the heat really affecting these big guys. Big Bryant Robinson at 6'4", 265 can sure feel that heat.
And we've got another injured player for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and you talked about it in the first half that we might see more cramping, and this time it's Dale Joseph who's down on the other side of the field. So LeBrant Robinson is taking a breather for Saskatchewan, as are many of his teammates, while Dale Joseph gets medical attention, and he was shaken up last week as well.
That's right. He's just actually coming off a knee injury, but it looks like right now they're holding that calf, and oftentimes that's where the cramp will occur, right in the calf muscle. You know, so important for these players to continue to take in water in this kind of heat and humidity, and oftentimes that's what happens. Go into the half, don't drink enough water, and come out and cramp up.
Now, you talked to me today about this. We were walking around in Memphis, and you said how hot and steamy it was, but today's too late, right, to start drinking the water?
That's right. The trainers, like Ivan Gutford, will often tell you, listen, drink the water 2 days and the day before the game, because once you get on to game day, it's too late for everything that water does for you, which I'm not a scientist, so I can't help you there, but he says you got to have them 2 days before, because game day, it's too late.
What's the other stuff you drink?
Pedialyte.
What's that?
Pedialyte is stuff that they give kids that are sick and they're
throwing up
a lot. I don't know. You can say that on there.
Throwing up on TV. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when your kids, your infants are throwing up a lot, they give them Pedialyte. It replenishes the electrolytes and the waters and the fluids for the kids. And actually, that's what we used to drink, and I'm sure the Riders right now are doing that prior to game time.
So as Dale Joseph continues to receive medical attention, we can tell you what's coming up next week. Friday, BC at Calgary, a game that we will see as Darren Flutie returns to the scene of the crime, as they would think of it in Calgary. Of course, that last-second touchdown in the Western Final last year propelled BC to the Grey Cup and the championship. Saturday, Toronto's at Shreveport, and Memphis at Hamilton on Monday.
Boy, BC and Calgary, what a matchup that's going to be. Defending Grey Cup champions against what most people predict will be this year's Grey Cup champions in Calgary.
What do you think?
Well, I like Calgary. I mean, anytime you have number 20 in your lineup in Doug Flutie, you have a chance to win.
You know, it's interesting in this football game. You see Brett the Toaster Williams talking it over on the sidelines. How about this? The Toaster's retired now, doing some coaching. One of his ex-teammates from Montreal, Glenn Kulka, is playing in this game tonight.
You know, I love how, you know, when you just get out of playing and you go into coach, I love how these guys coach, because most coaches will tell you what to do, but when you're a recent player in there, you're out there doing it, and he's basically describing the play by physically showing him how to do it.
They always say the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is 3 weeks, but in Glenn Kulka's case, it's usually significantly longer than that. But just to finish the thought, Doug Flutie had over 400 yards passing last night. He's gone over 29,000 yards in his career. Both the quarterbacks that started this game, Tom Burgess and Damon Allen, will likely go over 30,000 this year in the Canadian Football League. Right now, only 5 players have ever done it in the league's history. Kent Austin was the latest to do it last year.
Boy, there are some great quarterbacks in this league. I'm surprised we're not seeing more offense out of this game tonight.
The game was 2, by the way, 5 minutes ago. It's 2nd and 8. And Damon Allen ran out of time.
Time count violation. Memphis number 9. Still 2nd down.
So I want to get this straight. Dale Joseph was down for like 3 minutes. They stood around, and then when they run their first play, they took too much time.
Well, the only thing I can say is either they changed the play at the last second, didn't get it in there in time, or they didn't hear exactly when the referee blew the whistle in and didn't know that the time had started for their huddle. You only get 20 seconds. Pepper's used to 40.
That's right. So a 5-yard penalty makes it 2nd and 13 now, and the Dogs are backed up to their own 7-yard line. Allen fakes it and gets sacked for a safety. Allen faked the first throw, and he gets dropped in the end zone. LeBrant Robinson took advantage of that rest he just got, and he sacks Damon Allen in the end zone for a safety for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So the defense for Saskatchewan, I guess, has decided it's going to have to score points on its own.
Yeah. Well, they get the 2 points for their team, but great pressure up front by LeBrant Robinson and Bobby Jerson. They also sent Ron Getz from the outside. He's actually who got the sack. Getz is coming from the outside. You know, they're running that true 34 defense. That means 3 true defensive linemen up front, 4 linebackers in behind. They feel that gives them a lot of different options in running blitzes. In that case, they send Getz from the outside for the safety. But one of the other reasons that happened was Damon Allen had an out-and-out pattern called to Eddie Brown. He looked at him all the way to his right side. That's a long developing pattern, and Allen got caught.
Second sack for Getz on the day, and he'll get credit for the safety. And now the Memphis Mad Dogs will have to kick off to Saskatchewan. And let's give some credit to Brent Maddux here. 2 punts that went out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, and in the battle for field position, he gave Saskatchewan a big edge.
Oh, absolutely. Brent Maddux is a real pleasant spot for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He's been averaging 43 yards a kick this year, but he's had some big ones, and he really is the key reason that they're winning that field position game right now, and that they're still in this football game. That and some nice plays on defense.
The free kick here for Memphis, they could punt it, but most teams do elect to kick off in this situation.
Yeah, but I don't know, Gord, with Memphis, the way their field goal and place kicking has been, they may decide to. No, they're gonna kick it up.
And they're gonna give Alien the dog a chance to retrieve this tee. So that'll excite the fans here at the Liberty Bowl tonight. Who are, nice play by that guy.
Well, it feels like beach weather.
I wouldn't be going to the beach if it was this hot. Joe Allison kicks it off. And this is Aaron Ruffin from the 22. Ruffin's got a lane, and here he comes up across the 40 and up to the 45-yard line. And he's finally dropped on the play by Donald Smith, and here comes Alien. Now, there's a lot of divots out there. Alien might have trouble. Let's see. Oh, he went right by it. Went right by it. Alien. Behind you. Behind you.
This could be our first.
This could be the first time a CFL game has ever been delayed by a dog on the field. And now they're trying to get him off.
There you go.
Oh, I see. He got some help there. Junior Robinson threw the tee up in the air so that Alien could see it.
Hey, Gord, football's a team game. Even Alien needs help from his teammates every now and then.
Hey, I know the place that Alien wants to be, and I'll tell you in a minute, because we're staying here. First and 10, Saskatchewan. From the Riders' own 45-yard line. Warren Jones from the shotgun, and quickly that receiver screen to Don Narcisse, and Narcisse has the catch and gets up to about the 53-yard line, so the streak is intact.
And you know, Don Narcisse, the way I figure it, should break that record of Tony Gabriel's, who has 137 consecutive catches on September 30th, which is the day after the Labor Day game.
So you figure what, in 8 games he'll break it?
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, wow. You think stats at Simon Fraser?
You know what? I'm a math major.
Wow,
no, that's a lie.
That's impressive.
I majored in football.
Gain was 7 at 2nd and 3. And Hood trying to get across midfield, dives and got close, but I don't think he got there. Just to get back to Alien the dog for a minute, we're staying at the Peabody Hotel here in Memphis, a grand old hotel in downtown Memphis. Every day at 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock, 5 ducks come down from the roof in the elevator, escorted by the doorman, walk across a red carpet and get into a fountain in the middle of the hotel lobby. It's a big deal. Like, hundreds of people watch this thing. I think Alien the dog would love to be there.
Yeah.
Alien would love to be there for that.
I'm sure that would mix things up. But you know what really amazed me about that was the crowds.
Oh, I know.
Big crowds to watch the Ducks walk through the pond.
John Hood did not get there, and here's a big reason why.
Yeah, big Greg Battle plugging up the hole. He's coming right in there. You know, the linebacker has to find that gap. The defensive line are going to open it up and let him come in and make the play and try and keep the offensive lineman off the linebacker. Battle stuffed it nice.
It's 3rd and a yard, and it looks like Saskatchewan will punt unless they've got something up their sleeve. Nope, Matic kicks it away. Adrian Smith moves his way up the sideline and gets up to the 30-yard line. He's finally stopped there by David Pitcher, a 47-yard punt, and a return of 20 by Adrian Smith, who gets thrown down hard on that AstroTurf that comprises the last 4 yards of the playing surface before the sideline.
That really hasn't been a problem in this game because a lot of the players concerned about that, where the grass turns into AstroTurf on the sideline, but really we haven't seen anyone slip on that turf.
But we now have an injured player down on that turf. It looks to be Joey Yock, number 87. He's the holder for Dave Ridgway. Does that mean you have to come out of retirement if he can't continue?
No, I'm done. I think if he is hurt, it would go to Tom Burgess, one of the quarterbacks.
How did you end up being a holder?
Well, you know what it was? In my second season, Stu Fraser was a holder for Dave when I first got to Saskatchewan in '84. My second season, the coach, Stu Fraser, went to Ottawa. Coach said in training camp, does anyone know how to hold? I was a young guy, rookie, thinking, hey, this may be a way to keep me on the team. Shot my hand up, said, oh, yeah, I hold. And from that point on.
Have you ever done it before?
I did a little bit in college, but from that point on, I was Dave's holder. Here you see Joey Yock just to the right of your screen here, going in there to make the tackle on the special teams. And it really looked like, unless it's a neck injury or a cramp, it doesn't really look like anything was wrong with the legs there. Looks like it might be his neck.
And Yock remains down on the turf. Of course, his dad is watching anxiously on the Saskatchewan sideline.
You want to be very, very careful when it's a neck problem, because you don't want to move the receiver, and they're taking all the precautions with Joey Yock on the sideline. There he is. He looks like he's a little drowsy, and you saw Ivan Gutfriend grabbing his hands, and what he's saying there is to make sure that he has feeling in his hands. Does he have feeling in his hands and legs, so he doesn't have any kind of neck or back problem? Looks like he's just a little bit woozy, and he'll be back on.
Got a long walk now back to that Saskatchewan sideline on the far side of the field. In fact, his brother Jimmy's here tonight as well, visiting his father, and the tough a little family reunion here.
Sorry, Gord. The tough part about that walk is you can't see the sideline when you get dinged like that. You're trying to get over there and go, okay, you guys just tell me when I can sit down.
Why is it raining?
Yeah. He'll be back. He looks okay. And Tyrell Almer, who was hurt in the last series, is back in the lineup.
1:36 to play here in the third quarter. And it's Memphis continuing to lead, now 8-3. They give it to Gary Anderson on first down, and behind the lead block, Anderson gets out to about the 37-yard line before Brooks Finley came up and made the stop for Saskatchewan.
Boy, I tell you, Anderson is definitely not running like he's 34 years old. He looks great. He's accelerating into the football. They give him the ball deep back in the backfield, and he just accelerates through that hole and gets into the linebacking core. And Brooks Finley, before anyone even saw him there, good job by Gary Anderson. Good explosion into the hole.
Gain of 9 leaves him a yard short of the first down. And they'll come right back to him. He needs to get to the 40, and he appeared to do it for about a half a second. And if they spot him close to the 40, he should have a Memphis first down. Of course, he's an 8-year veteran of the National Football League and played in the USFL for 2 years before that.
Watch this big O-line, rookie O-line. But, you know, when you're a young offensive line, you love to run block. It's an aggressive block. You can move forward, you attack, and Troy Alexander doing an excellent job there, exploding off the ball and getting that run block, create some openings for his running back.
And it is a first down for Anderson, just shy of the 40-yard line. And he has his third consecutive carry. Trying to snap it outside. And a great job by Gary Anderson for a pickup of 8 yards as he shucked and jived his way for a pickup of a lot more than it looked like he was going to get.
Yeah, and one thing that Memphis right now is doing is they're going into an offensive formation, which is like the old double tight. They have 2 wide receivers, and they're bringing their slot backs in, and they're putting him in the tight end positions, and it's definitely as a run set. And surprising how well Memphis is running the ball on this Saskatchewan defense. It's only given up, like you said earlier, 69 yards so far per game rushing.
On what should be the final play of the third quarter. They give to the fullback, Bruce Perkins, and look at Perkins rumble through the middle of that Saskatchewan defense inside the 45 to the 44-yard line. And the big fullback with a gain of 17 yards on the final play of this third quarter. Let's send you back now to CFL Control. Here's Darren DeTitian.
Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Thanks very much, Gord. Tomorrow we will take you to Birmingham. The Barracudas will take on the Ticats. The Tabbies off to a great start at 2-0. Anthony Cavill, one of the major reasons. He has 5 touchdown passes so far this season. He did get his bell rung last week. He is expected to play tomorrow. By the way, Donnie Southern loves his depth at the quarterback position.
Well, my friend Galen Cisco over in with the Blue Jays, we talked about relief pitchers. I think I have a couple of good ones in Steve Taylor and Mike Kerrigan, but Anthony has done a great job. Cavillo come in there and won that starting job, and he's put up some numbers, and I think that he has to continue to do that. He knows that, or Mike will come in and Steve will come in, but I don't think you can win with just one quarterback in this league.
It is Cavillo versus Dunnigan tomorrow. It's an 8 o'clock start Eastern time right here on TSN. Hamilton 2-0 as aforementioned. Birmingham goes into the game 1-1. The Montreal Expos were victorious tonight as they knocked off the Phillies by a score of 8-2. Pedro Martinez with the win. He goes the distance. Philadelphia, they're falling apart. They have lost 10 of their last 12 games. At the Kingdome in Seattle, it is just underway in the first inning of play. Toronto in town. Guzman with the start. The Jays go in 11 back of Boston. Let's go back to the Liberty Bowl for Gordon Glenn.
Thanks very much, Darren. An unusual offensive formation we saw a moment ago for the Memphis Mad Dogs.
That's right, Gordon. You see right here, Todd Young, and right over here, Tracy Boyd come in for the slot backs, and that is a straight run set. You got 2 extra offensive linemen in the game, and you know when that happens, you're going to be running the football.
And that was first down. I mean, that wasn't like second and short.
That's right. They've run that same formation the last 4 downs. So you definitely know that Memphis is just going to run the ball, and they're in the same formation again now.
When's the last time you saw 7 offensive linemen in a game on first down in the CFL? And Allen gives to the new back. It's Tweet Martin. And Martin gets up to the 40-yard line for a gain of 5. Tweet Martin also played college football here in Memphis, a first-year CFL player, 5'8", 185. Well, the numbers through 3 quarters, look at the rushing. We've been following this throughout the game. 132 yards rushing for Memphis, 23 for Saskatchewan, but 3 turnovers by the Mad Dogs. And you know what? If you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders, you've been outplayed in this game, and you're only down 5.
Yeah, they got to be happy with that because they didn't take advantage of the turnovers by Memphis. They're still in the ballgame.
On 2nd and 5, the toss to Anderson, and Anderson has the first down and then some. Anderson still going, finally tackled. Check that, that's Tweet Martin who's finally tackled down at the 27-yard line. So Pepper Rogers Club puts in the big offensive line and brings Tweet Martin off the bench for Gary Anderson. And a pickup of 13 yards.
And really nice scouting job by Pepper, because what he's doing right now is he's taking advantage of that 34 defense. 3 down linemen for Saskatchewan, 4 linebackers. Those linebackers are a little smaller. You put in the 2 big offensive linemen and take out your slots. Now you got a size mismatch.
Another first down. Here's Perkins again. Perkins still going. Perkins to the 5 and down to the 4. 9 straight running plays by the Memphis Mad Dogs. And this time, fullback Bruce Perkins takes them down to the 5.
Yeah, good job by that big O-line. Vance Hammond at the center, creating a big pocket there and creating the bubble for Perkins to the left side of the street. Perkins runs over the official on his way to the end zone, but it's this formation and is really giving Saskatchewan a lot of trouble. This rookie offensive line getting a chance to fire off the ball.
First and goal from the 5. Here's Perkins again. And this time he runs into a wall of Saskatchewan Roughriders. LeBrant Robinson was there. Gary Rogers was there. So was Bobby Jurison. And they limit the game to a couple as they get down to the 3.
Boy, fatigue's got to be a factor for Saskatchewan. They're definitely not coming off the ball with the same fire that they were in the first half. And you got to think that this heat, they're not accustomed to it, is definitely taking its toll on them right now.
The power set remains in there for Memphis. And the toss goes to Tweet Martin. Martin gets it strung out and is dropped for no gain. A flag is down. Ron Getz got out there along with Bobby Jurison to make the stop. There's a flag down at the 5-yard line.
Usually that area indicates holding, but we'll...
And it would appear it is holding as Jake Ireland makes the indication. Now what do? You stop them for no gain. You're going to force them to try to kick a field goal. They've been awful at it. Or you give them another try on 2nd down.
Holding. Memphis number 67. Declined. 3rd down.
Yeah, make them kick the field goal.
Yeah, the way they've been kicking field goals, it's a good decision for Saskatchewan.
And now confusion for the Memphis Mad Dogs. They weren't sure what down it was, and they've got a fire drill going, but the 20-second clock is not running.
don't think Jake Island has blown the whistle yet to call the play to begin.
And now it looks like they finally have the right people in there. And the 20-second clock is running.
It looked like Jake was just trying to sort things out with timekeepers or something in the booth, and
they better hurry. Memphis is 4 for 12 kicking field goals this year. They're just going to take the penalty.
Yeah, they're going to take the penalty because right now they're almost too close. It's like a chip shot trying to get it from that angle through the uprights. It's a tough kick from there, so they'd rather be 5 yards back, have a little better angle at the kick.
They're declining the penalty? Did I see Bobby Jerson say they're going to decline the penalty?
Who's the holder? Who's the holder?
9, Jake. David Allen.
Time count violation. Memphis number 9. The penalty is declined. Still third down.
So they're going to leave him there.
That's right.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can decline the penalty. You got to make
decline. You can decline time count.
You can decline it. Yeah, obviously you can there.
Oh, I've never seen that.
But it's a good move by Saskatchewan right now because that is a difficult chip shot to get that kind of angle on your kick, and
you're actually a yard closer than you would be on a convert.
Yeah, and you're on the side, you're on the hash mark, so it's definitely a tough angle, and with the problems that this kicking game has been having, you don't want to make it any easier for them.
So Saskatchewan ices the shooter, and this try will come from the 11-yard line. Allen gets it down, and what do you know? The Memphis Mad Dogs made a field goal, and the lead is up to 8. Memphis 11, Saskatchewan 3, with 11:29 to play in the fourth quarter.
Welcome back to CFL Control. The Birmingham Barracuda is going to have some tight D tomorrow as they take on the Ticats, as we have mentioned. Last week, they pretty much gave them the business, 31-13. We'll see how they do at home with Donnie. 8 o'clock start right here on TSN. Let's go back to the Liberty Bowl.
Thanks very much, Darren. There's a good idea. You got to have a towel around your neck to keep you from melting, I guess. And Pepper Rogers was happy to see what we just saw. A field goal good by the Memphis Mad Dogs.
Yeah, the young Joe Allison finally made one, and he's pretty excited. And Pepper saying, well, we better make it from there.
I did see his
Finally,
face.
we got one.
I didn't see his face if they missed one.
Yeah.
Missed it from there. And Pepper say, I don't need this. I'm 62. I don't need this from a kicker.
But hey, his team's still ahead, and we're in the fourth quarter.
Now Allison to kick it off. And bobbling the ball is Aaron Ruffin down the 5, and he won't get very far. Forced out of bounds at the 13-yard line as Breedlove got down there with Tweet Martin. A 70-yard kickoff and a return of just 8. So Joe Allison gets the job done, and now Warren Jones comes in. He's 10 for 17. He's above 50%. But this team cannot find the end zone.
That's right. They, you know, statistics are nothing. They say statistics are for losers, and right now in this situation, obviously it's holding true because Saskatchewan behind. Warren Jones has to take control, find some open receivers, get them the ball, and get this team down the field. They're still in this ball game with 11 minutes left.
Alien the dog was out there again. Might be time for another training camp, but now we got a beach ball.
Well, we had lightning last week in Regina and the power outage. Now we have dogs on the field and beach balls. And
you know, it hasn't rained in Memphis in 15 days until we showed up.
And there was lightning, thunder, and rain before the game.
Rained in Edmonton, rained in Regina, rained in Memphis.
It's following us.
If we went to the Sahara Desert, it would rain.
Boy, this is a key series for Saskatchewan. They really need to get something going here. They want to get in this ball game and win this ball game. They have lots of time. It's only 11-3. Warren Jones needs to move this ball down the field, but they really are looking tired at this point.
Jake, I think, is talking about the dog. Jake might be giving them a word or two about the dog and the clock.
Go on, say 11, 18.
He made it up. He made that up. He said 11, 18.
Oh, Oh, boy.
You hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, that was,
Wow.
that's interesting. He just, let's just call 11.
11.
You know, whatever.
No. Oh, look at Alien. A tough day for Alien. He won't like the game film tomorrow.
No. He's had his problems today. But he'll snap back. He'll snap back.
Jake made up the time. You'll never hear the end of that. 1st and 10, Saskatchewan. Riders from their own 13. Jones completes it to Don Narcisse on the receiver screen, and that's a play that Saskatchewan has used with some effectiveness tonight. He gets all the way out to the 29-yard line, a pickup of 16 yards.
Saskatchewan going into that hurry-up offense. Nice play to get the drive started on that hitch screen to Don Narcisse.
And Warren Jones and Don Narcisse do have that great quarterback receiver understanding, don't they?
Absolutely. These guys eat together, sleep together, well, live together, they room together.
Jones under pressure from Cofield, and he has it complete to Narcisse, who lost the ball, but he made the catch up at the 35-yard line, and I think the Mad Dogs disagreed.
Yeah, Warren Jones is definitely, you know, when the chips are down, he has to go to the guy he knows best, and that's Don Narcisse. Does a nice job of buying himself some time on Cofield there, and that's what he can give you. That dimension of being able to scramble a little bit and by time found his buddy Narcisse on the sideline.
If he's tight on you, stay on him right now. Okay? Now look, let's get that on.
The gain was 5. It is 2nd and 5. And Jones gets away from the pressure again. Gets it up the field, and look out. Almost breaking loose was Prince Wembley, who got away from Don Smith, and Wembley just took that away from the Memphis defender.
Yeah, it looked like Don Odegaard was breaking on the ball, but he just mistimed or something. Nice concentration by Wembley, because when there's hands and a guy cuts in front of the ball at the last second, oftentimes you misjudge it. There's Odegaard. He just mistimed where he was going to go. He just didn't want to cut underneath and then got too high.
Gain was 25. John Hood now running hard, gets inside the 45 to the 44, and some pushing and shoving at the end of that play, and flags are flying.
A little frustration going right now.
Scott Hendrickson, the right guard, was involved there, and it looked like a Saskatchewan player got thrown down late to start it.
Well, Saskatchewan does not want a penalty in this situation. They got a nice drive going at this point in the ballgame.
And it is unnecessary roughness against Saskatchewan.
Penalties again, just killing Saskatchewan.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Saskatchewan number 63. 2nd down.
Scott Hendrickson is called. That was obviously in retaliation for whatever had happened early. He's right in the middle of your screen, number 63. You saw Donald Smith throw somebody down, and then Hendrickson came over and leveled Smith.
Yeah, Donald Smith's retaliation. Donald Smith hit Ray Elgard a little bit after the whistle, and Scott came over to protect his teammate and got caught in the retaliation, but tough penalty to take in this situation.
Now 2nd and a bundle, and here comes that screen pass to Larry Thompson. Thompson gets the low throw and gets up to about the 46-yard line, but that'll leave him 6 yards short of a Saskatchewan 1st down.
You see the punt team coming on there, but tough penalty for Saskatchewan. Again, penalties killing them. Their most penalized team in the league so far in 1995.
That's not like a Ray Yach team.
No, it's discipline, and Ray Yach will definitely be addressing the problem, I'm sure. But Saskatchewan, another penalty in a key situation that ends the drive for them. And boy, with 9 minutes left and 11-3 being the score, they didn't need that.
This is the 8th punt of the game for Brent Matic. Adrian Smith back deep to receive. And Matic has another beauty. Smith from the 4. Looking for some room. He's got it. Adrian Smith up and running. Hit his own man. Adrian Smith ran into his own teammate, and that limited the return. Saskatchewan caught a break because Michael Armstrong got in the way. 11-3. Memphis leads Saskatchewan in the 4th quarter. Adrian Smith from Southwest Missouri ran into another guy from the Show Me State, Mike Armstrong from Central Missouri.
Yeah, if it's not for his own guy here, he has a chance to take a one-on-one situation with the punter, Brett Matic. And, sometimes Matic has been kicking the ball so well and so long, but sometimes you can out-kick your coverage, and that happened there.
1st and 10, and that big offensive set remains in there, but Allen is throwing deep. And he's got a man, and the pass is just out of the reach as he was looking there for Joe Horn.
Wow, well, Damon Allen threw that one under some pressure. Glenn Kalka coming up the middle, put tremendous pressure on Damon Allen, and he got the ball away. Little play action fake, trying to hold that safety and get everyone to bite up. It just gives him a little more time. Kalka comes up with the pressure. Allen gets rid of it just in time and takes a big hit. Allen said before the game, he said, hey, I'll take the hits if you guys can get open. That's the way he feels about it. If he gets his receivers open, he'll take those big hits to get the win. Nice job by Glenn Kalka hitting him there.
Ex-teammates in Ottawa. Kalka gets the stick on Allen. Now 2nd and 10, and a more conventional offensive set as Allen throws it and complete to Eddie Brown. That's his first catch of the football game, and Brown should have a first down for Memphis. It comes with 7:57 to play in the 4th quarter, and Eddie Brown, who came into this game with 8 catches, gets his first in this game late in the 4th quarter.
And he does a nice job after he makes the catch coming back. He knows that he's not touched, so he gets up and gets a few more yards. But good concentration because Tyrell Ulmer was right beside him and had his hands in his face and waving at the ball. And Eddie Brown kept concentration and made the catch. Last week, 7 catches, 94 yards and a touchdown. He's 2nd on the team in receiving right now behind Joe Horn.
And playing for his 5th CFL team. Now here's the give to Gary Anderson, trying to get outside. Anderson gets sent back in, and a great play by Ron Getz to force him back inside. Limits the gain to 3 as Getz forced him back inside where he had lots of defensive help.
And boy, that defense, even though that was a real nice play, but that defense really looking tired. Offensive line for Memphis getting off the ball and creating some openings, and a nice play by Getz to string it out, and Dale Joseph to keep containment and turn it inside.
Yeah. Now 2nd and 7. In an 11-3 game in the 4th quarter. And again, flags fly. And is that too much time again by Damon Allen? There's 4 flags down, or it's procedure against the Memphis quarterback.
Yeah, Damon just pulled back a little early from the center. It looked like Vance Hammond. Vance Hammond is a new guy and trying to get that count straight, and he made a little movement for the ball, and that drew his offensive line offside.
Memphis number 68, still 2nd down.
They're calling Derek Brown the right tackle for early movement. You saw Allen back up there as well. Doug Flutie does that all the time. He's in motion when he gets the snap from center.
Yeah, and it always seems like when he throws the ball, he's moving backwards as well. I don't know how he does it, but he finds a way.
Well, the Memphis guys couldn't believe they couldn't sack Doug Flutie until they were reminded that he often throws the ball 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Now Allen from the shotgun. He's under pressure again. Being chased down, Allen steps out of bounds up around the 51-yard line. That'll leave him 2 yards short of a first down, but what a job by Damon Allen to elude the Saskatchewan rush.
Yeah, Damon Allen and doing it all himself again. He's been doing it all game and sees that rush coming from Ron Getz from the outside and from Gary Rogers, and he breaks containment. Now, we saw Bobby Jerson early in the game with that one-on-one confrontation. Bobby tried to stay in containment. That time, Gary went right for Damon Allen. When you do that with a guy with this much ability, he's going to bounce outside you like he did there.
And that's what he wants you to do. Damon Allen has outrushed the Saskatchewan offensive backfield by a 2-1 margin. Pete Gardier is back to punt. The 3rd-string quarterback for this team as well. In fact, he was the all-time leading passer in the history of the Texas Longhorns. And Gardier hits this one away. Taken by Tyrell Ulmer back at the 12. And Ulmer picks his way out across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. But again, Saskatchewan hemmed in deep in its own end. 5:49 to play in the 4th quarter. Damon's defense has Memphis ahead by 8.
In Seattle tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays have jumped out to the early lead. Johnny Oliver will single up the middle. Paul Molitor will come around to score. That will make it 1-0 for the Blue Jays. They draw first blood in the top of the 2nd inning.
Olerud and Mullet are a couple of struggling guys for the Toronto Blue Jays. Tom Burgess, meantime, struggled here as replaced in the first quarter. Look at the yards rushing. Memphis has 6 times as many rushing yards as Saskatchewan. Joe Horn, a big part of the offense, 5 catches for 133 yards. And what's really kept Saskatchewan in the game is the fact that Memphis has turned the ball over 3 times. The good news is it's 5 after 10 here in Memphis, and it's only 80 degrees.
A lot of those rushing yards coming from Damon Allen himself.
Should be down in the low 70s by midnight.
That's when it starts going back up.
Clock running at 5:40 to play here in the fourth quarter, and Warren Jones finds Hood. Hood gets away from the first man out across the 30. He fights his way to the 35 for Damian Lyons. Finally forces him out of bounds. That should be a first down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And that's a nice play by Warren Jones to find Hood sneaking out of the backfield in this instance, because they're in a zone defense in Memphis right now, and that's the play you got to go to. Get the back underneath the zone, and you'll see the corner coming up in Robinson. Try and make the player, sorry, the halfback, excuse me, coming up, and that's because that was his zone.
Now they go to the other side to Don Narcisse up close to the 44-yard line, and that time Don Odegaard, another former Hamilton Ticat, came up to make the stop. And so Saskatchewan in its hurry-up offense gets 9 there. It'll be 2nd and 1.
Warren Jones doing a nice job with this hurry-up offense. So if they just don't get the stupid penalty, they'll be okay.
Jones with the fake. And a long throw to Larry Thompson. And he's up close to midfield to the Saskatchewan 53-yard line. And you heard the Memphis players demanding an offside call. The gain is 9. It's another Saskatchewan first down.
A lot of times when you're in hurry-up offense, it simplifies things, not only for the quarterback, because he knows he comes down to about 2 or 3 offensive plays, but also he knows that the Memphis defense has to stay in basic coverages.
Larry Thompson with a big catch. Jones remains in the shotgun, gets it to Joe Hood, and here comes Hood across midfield, still going down to the 45-yard line. And Bobby Dawson finally makes the stop, but not before John Hood has a gain of 12 yards and another Saskatchewan first down.
That's right, and again, it was a zone defense. When the Memphis is in that hurry-up situation, because of communication problems, they have to stay in that basic zone. Warren's finding the back out of the backfield underneath.
Jones to Larry Thompson. There's that receiver screen again, and a shoelace tackle was made. As reaching out was Alex Gordon. That limited the gain to 3 yards. So John Hood, a big part of the offense, and so is Larry Thompson in this fourth quarter drive with the clock approaching 4 minutes.
And with Memphis in that softer zone, guys are standing straight up. You're going to try and get underneath it with the little wide receiver screen to Thompson. Then he does a nice job keeping his balance, staying on his feet. And it looked like Greg Battle had a little bit of his face mask as well, but the refs missed that, so they don't see it. It's not a penalty.
Warren Jones has completed his last 10 passes. And that will end the streak as he gets it knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, we jinxed Dave Ridgway with the kick comment before he missed his first one, and then right when we say that Warren has all those pass completions in a row, he gets one knocked down by Gordon. And if you can't get to the quarterback, you're told get your hands up, and the big paw came up. Actually looked like Rodney Harding got a piece of that as well.
And we've got an injured Memphis Mad Dog down at the 40-yard line. It's Greg Battle.
Yeah, and the way he's trying to stretch out his calf, it looks like a cramp. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of this in this game with this humidity. But like you said, Gordy, cooled down a little bit, so maybe they're okay down there now.
The former Winnipeg Blue Bomber who played for the Bombers from 87 to 93, went to Vegas last year and then was dealt to Ottawa. And tomorrow we'll see an ex-teammate of Greg Battle's, Matthew Dunnigan, and the Birmingham Barracudas home to the Hamilton Ticats, a game we'll have for you at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on TSN. Look forward to seeing Matthew in his new colors.
Hamilton off to a good start as well. They're playing well with Cavello at quarterback from the Las Vegas Posse, doing a nice job. Beat Saskatchewan in their opener. Be a good game. That definitely looks like cramps for Battle. He's grabbing those calves and trying to stretch them out.
And as Battle receives medical attention, players from both sides are anxious to take a breather on a hot and steamy night in Memphis. We mentioned the temperature today reached 108 degrees according to the weather office. It rained at about 5:30 just to add a little more steam to the air. And so now with 3:43 to play in the fourth quarter, players from both teams are trying to get their breath for the end of this football game.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Well, Greg Battle is up and moving towards the Memphis sideline, albeit a bit slowly, as it appears it was a cramp for the former All-Canadian who made the All-CFL team twice and was twice the outstanding defensive player in the CFL.
Yeah, 90 and 91, over 100 tackles in 89, 90 and 91. Just an outstanding football player. You know, the tough thing about cramps, once you get one, they just never go away. They keep coming back.
And now on third down, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are gambling. It's 3rd and 7. And flags are down. It's procedure Saskatchewan. And Ray Yock has to send the punting team out.
Boy, I tell you, another
procedure. Saskatchewan number 61, still 3rd down.
See right here in your screen, Paul Vida is going to move early. Oh, it's on the other side. Paul Vida moves a little bit early, and these penalties killing the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's 2 drives in a row late in the fourth quarter that penalties have ended drives.
And Brent Maddich in the punting unit forced to come out now for Saskatchewan. Clock running. 3:15 to play in the fourth quarter. Maddich will want a good one here. It is. Adrian Smith right at the goal line brings it out. And Smith out of bounds at the 12, and there's a flag down at the 5. With 3:01 to play in the fourth quarter, the Memphis Mad Dogs are bottled up, and we've got the 3-minute warning from Jake Ireland. 11-3, Memphis leads Saskatchewan. Ray Yock's team has penalty problems, but the Riders anxious to get the ball back for one more shot at this Memphis D.
The CFL live on TSN. Brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Bell Advantage Long Distance Services from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Adrian Smith brought it out of the end zone for the Memphis Mad Dogs. That way a touchdown wouldn't tie the game for Saskatchewan, but an illegal block moves the Mad Dogs down to their own 3-yard line with 3:01 to play in the fourth quarter.
Now remember, Gord, also earlier in the game, Saskatchewan had a safety from a position just similar to this. So a safety and a touchdown wins the game for Saskatchewan. So I wouldn't be surprised to possibly see that double tight offense, a little more running out of Memphis. They definitely don't want to give up the safety in this case.
And they would appear to have the big people out there now. That 7 offensive linemen set. You see Tom Burgess there with Joey Yock anxiously looking on, hoping the Saskatchewan Roughriders at least get another chance to hold on to the ball. Remember, Memphis had an 8-minute scoring drive in this game. 1st and 10 for the Mad Dogs from their own 3. They give them the fullback Perkins. And this time Saskatchewan able to limit the game to 7. And that's a victory against Perkins, who's been getting about 12 yards a carry.
It is a victory, but if you're Memphis right now, you'll take 7 yards of crack on a running play from this part of the field anytime. And it really looks like dominance from that offensive line of Memphis, and it looks like Saskatchewan's tired.
Perkins with 6 carries for 54 yards. The clock is running. 2nd and 3. Perkins again. Close until Dan Rashovich forced him back. He needed to get to the 13-yard line, and it looks like they'll mark him up around the 12.
This one's going to be close, and
he'll be a yard short.
You see the punt team coming out there for Memphis, so they're not going to take any chances down here. And great job by Dan Rashovich stuffing that one, but it all started also with Ron Getz. He came on a stunt inside and just blew it up right in the middle of the field. Getz came across, and you'll see Getz right there, stand up Vince Hammond, and that creates the pile in front of Perkins and allows Dan Rasevich to scrape off and make the tackle and hold him short. But nice play by Getz to stand up Vince Hammond in the middle.
Pete Gardere at the punt, partially blocked. It bounces down around the 35-yard line and out of bounds up at the 23-yard line. Excellent field position for the Saskatchewan Roughriders as Terrell Ulmer finished off the play that was begun, it would appear, by Darren Joseph.
Yeah, Darren Joseph, that running back coming in, and Darren he wants to play out of the tailback position, but he's not a selfish football player. He's made about 3 tackles for Saskatchewan so far this year on special teams, and he just got in there clean, scot-free off that left side and forced the punt to go off to the right. Good field position for Saskatchewan.
Just a 23-yard punt, 2:10 to play in the 4th quarter. Well, the Riders wanted their chance. Here it is. Jones. The give ahead to John Hood, who crosses the 20 and gets down to about the 17-yard line. Remember, Saskatchewan is 8 points down.
Gord, just we were saying that penalties were hurting Saskatchewan like they have all year. Turnovers and special teams, problem for Memphis. And again, we see a special teams breakdown for Memphis.
And remember, the position they were put in back at their own 3 was because of another special teams mistake. On 2nd down, Jones quickly goes to Ray Elgard, and Elgard is down to about the 13-yard line, a gain of 2. That'll be right at the 1st down marker.
Well, a minute and 42, and Saskatchewan knocking at the door. This one's going to be measured, but
just the 2nd catch of the game for Ray Elgard.
It's like we're in for some kind of finish.
Kind of game that'll make your hair stand on end, eh, Pepper? And Elgard is about 3 links short.
I've never quite heard it put that way. 3 links short of a 1st down. That translates into what, about 1.5 inches?
I don't know, 3 links.
Well, they definitely got to go for it.
Greg Battle is back in now for Memphis. 3rd and inches for the Riders.
And Greg Battle's the guy you want in this situation if you're a Memphis fan.
Jones. Straight ahead, has the 1st down. Now Saskatchewan might have to hurry because as soon as the ball is placed on the running play, the clock will start moving.
That's right, and it looks like they're on about the 11-yard line, which means they can get the 1st down without scoring. If they get down to the 1-yard line, they'll have 3 cracks from there.
But 3 cracks would take an awful lot of time. And the clock continues to roll. They're just outside the 10. Saskatchewan has not led in this football game. Jones to the shotgun. On 1st down. 1st receiver coverage. So is the 2nd. Jones to the end zone. Incomplete. There was no one even close. And there are no flags.
Well, you know, earlier in the game, we saw the same sort of situation where Jones couldn't find an open receiver, felt the pressure and got rid of it. Was called that time earlier in the game, I mean, for intentionally grounding the pass. Now, Ray Yock a little worried that he might get the same call, but not this time. Good coverage by Memphis. No one for Warren Jones to throw the ball to.
Joey Yock checks into the game with a play for Saskatchewan. Prince Wembley is in as well. And Jones on 2nd down. Bounces up in the air and incomplete. They were looking there for Prince Wembley down at the 5. It'll bring up a 3rd and 10 from the 11. And just stifling D by Memphis.
Yeah, great coverage by Memphis. Junior Robinson coming over. He's got Prince Wembley, and he's been getting him on that speed pattern cut to the outside. We've talked about how well Wembley has run it. Well, Robinson's seen it 3 or 4 times now in the game, and he broke on that one and beat Wembley to the ball. Great play in a big situation for Junior Robinson.
Under a minute to go now in the 4th quarter. 3rd down. Jones Underneath to Elgard. Great defensive play by Junior Robinson. Junior Robinson stuffs the CFL's all-time leading receiver, and Saskatchewan turns it over on down.
Yeah, but I don't know. You got to question the decision there to dump the ball to Ray Elgard on 3rd and 10, and a must-win. So you got to get it. You got to get the ball in the end zone, and you know, dumping the ball off to Ray Elgard. I mean, you get it out of your hands, but you see Warren will just drop back, and he just wants to dump it off, and now you need Ray Elgard to beat 4 or 5 guys to get the first down. So I'm not sure if you got to question the decision, and Ray Yock very frustrated that, you know, on 3rd and 10 his quarterback goes to the relief man.
And while there was ejection on that side, Pepper Rogers loves what he sees. So the host team for the Grey Cup in 1995 looks set to go to 0-3 on the season. 49 seconds to play. Here's Gary Anderson. Last thing he wants to do is put the ball on the ground, and he very gingerly puts it down at the 16-yard line.
Now with 44 seconds left, this is the CFL, and you can get off 3-4 more series in 44 seconds. And you know, Pepper Rogers doesn't have a lot of experience with CFL time clocks. So, you know, in the NFL, they'd be walking to the locker room right now. So there may be another chance for Saskatchewan to get the ball back.
10 seconds left on the play clock, which means that unless they run a very long play, Saskatchewan could theoretically get the ball back. Allen with the fake. And snuffed out by Dale Joseph, who forced Allen back inside. And Allen got back to the 16-yard line. Now Saskatchewan calls timeout with 20 seconds exactly to play.
Yeah, with 20 seconds, they're going to get the ball back, and they're going to be able to run at least 3 plays in 20 seconds.
3 plays in 20 seconds?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it done.
Now, what if Memphis were to give up another safety? Take the snap and run around. Let's see if we can find out what they're thinking on the Memphis sideline.
You could just about run it out. Listen, tell everybody to grab somebody up front.
I'm not sure they know exactly how this works.
And Gord, that's exactly what he's talking about, though. What he wants to do now is take the safety. He's telling all the front guys in the punt team, tackle your man. The punter's going to take the ball, go back into the end zone, and run around.
All right, now Ray Yock looking on, and Memphis leaves its offense on the field. It's not the punting unit. So Yock gets his defense out there.
Yeah, and Damon Allen is going to take the ball likely and just run around, and he's asking everyone up front to just tackle their man. The penalty doesn't hurt him here. They'll give up the safety and then kick it for field position.
Now he hopes, Allen hopes he gets down to the end zone. Remember, if he doesn't get to the end zone, Saskatchewan gets the ball. So now Allen. Look out, here comes the rush. Allen's in the end zone. Gets away from Elmer. And Allen still running around down there. He doesn't want to leave the end zone, though. Jurison, and finally, Terrell Elmer forces him out of bounds, but Damon Allen took 13 seconds off the clock. It's a safety for Saskatchewan. That'll make the score 11-5. We'll have a free kick, and Saskatchewan will get the ball back.
Ray, we got to go for the return. We only got one play. We want the... Okay, let's go. Let's go regular return. Return.
That was Joey Yock who said, hey, Ray, we got to set up a return. He called his dad Ray.
Well, you know, they talk strategy at home, I'm sure, but they're going to need to make the big return because...
That's where they kick it, or what? Is that right?
They got a right return coming up here, and they're going to try and get as much field position as they can, and then hopefully for Saskatchewan and Saskatchewan's fans, they'll have time for one Hail Mary pass.
Well, you heard Joey Yock say on the sidelines, we don't have time for a play if they set up the return. Now, the clock starts once the receiver catches the ball. Once the kick receiver catches the ball, that's when the clock will start running.
Now, I think that what you should do in this situation is catch that ball, get right out of bounds, and try and get that 1 second for the Hail Mary, because you never know. Could get a pass interference call. a deflection, anything in that situation, but on a return, it's pretty tough to take it the distance.
See if Joe Allison decides to squib this kick. Kicks it away.
Let's run it like this, like this.
Taken up at the 25. Here's Aaron Ruffin, and Ruffin quickly out of bounds to the 34-yard line. 3 seconds left in the football game. Saskatchewan will get one last touch and a chance to try to win the football game.
And this is the deal. You put everybody to one side of the field. You get your quarterback as deep as you can and ask for that O-line to just hold on. Quarterback will try and buy a little bit of time so he gets his players further downfield. He'll just throw it as high as he can and hope for a deflection or a penalty.
How about the hook and lateral here?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you throw it in. But you know what? If you get the penalty, of course, you can't end the game on a penalty, so they'll get another chance.
Well, one shot from their own 34-yard line. 6 receivers out there. And only 3 men to rush for Memphis. Jones will have all kinds of time. And he guns it deep. He has a man open, but he missed him. John Odegaard makes the interception. John Narcisse was actually open underneath the coverage. And the Memphis Mad Dogs have the first win in franchise history. They go to 1-2 as the Saskatchewan Roughriders fall to 0-3. And the Memphis Mad Dogs can thank their defense, which stifled the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who got 4 of their 5 points from their own defense on safety.
Did a nice job, Junior Robinson. A couple of big plays in the 4th quarter in key situations. A great job by that defense.
On a steamy night in Memphis, the Mad Dogs have a win to celebrate. 11-5 is the final score for the Mad Dogs over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Back with more of the CFL Live in a moment.